Okay, so the task was to create a group called Pass Domain Admin, and it should be within the Toronto group OU. So there should be a group OU name group, and in this groups there should be this local group, and then we need to make this group part of domain admin, so that whoever person is part of this group should be a domain admin as well. So in order to do that, what we need to do is something like this. So first of all, I will go inside Toronto OU, and here I don't see I don't see another OU called groups. So, but the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go and create a organizational unit called groups. So under Toronto OU, I created a group, OU called groups. And within this group, I'm going to right click on this and create a new group. So when I'm creating a new group, the task was to do, to create a domain local group. So I just called it local group, but basically it is a domain local group, and you get a ticket exactly like this, because people don't use technical language. They just request something that is required. So according to local group, what we need to do is need to create a domain local group, and the group name will be, so group name will be past domain admin. So this is, and it is a domain local group. It's a security group. And once you create this, so group is created, then the next task was to make this group part of a domain admin group. So for that, the one way is to, you need to go into this and go to members. Here, I don't see anything. And here I see that this group is member of nothing at the moment when you create a group. So in member of, I need to go to add, and here I need to search for a group name, domain. I'll just type the word domain and check name. And in this case, it's okay. So it's not searching it. I will change it to domains and then check. It's not here. The other way around is that it's not looking. It's not finding this. Okay. So one problem that I'm seeing here, that it is only looking in this OU. So it should be looking in the complete Active Directory. So from this place, I will change that to actually, so this is fine. The location seems to be fine. It is still not searching it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just delete this and go to advanced. So when I go to advanced, and here I will search for the word DO and find, it's not finding it. Why is it not finding it?
Assalamu alaikum, sir. This is Wasim, sir.
You
There is a reason,
type
I
in
guess.
different icon, sir, not in the point like icon.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Wasim.
Okay. I think when we create a group, we have to have the user as well. Then you will be able to join it with find the domain in the group.
You're saying that in the group there should be a user?
Yes.
Wasim, you can add this group to any other group even without a user.
Okay.
So it should work. The only reason that we are not able to do that, that there is a restriction between local group and a global group. Now, what I am trying to do is I'm trying to make this part of a domain admin. So this way it's not going. Now I'm going to try another way. The other way is that first I'll find the domain admin group, which is right here in the built-in. So I'll go into built-in, and within built-in, I'll just look for domain admin. It's not here. I think it is in here. And this is the group where I need to make it part of. So I need to make that group part of this group. So I'm going to go into this and go to members, and the only group that is member of is the person is member of is administrator. But in member of, here we can see that there is another group called administrator, which is this group is member of. So so in there, that group needs to be here in this within members. So let me try this, that if I can make this member. And what is my group name? It is pass. So pass is not here. Okay, pass is not here. Now, what I am going to do, so first part is clear to everyone, right? Which is we created a group, and then this group needs to be part of domain admin. And why we are making it part of domain admin, guys, I would request everyone, if you don't have a question, please mute your mic because we're getting some background noise. So first task is completed. The second part is that we are trying to make that group part of domain admins group. Now, so what I'm going to try one more thing. Yes, please go ahead. So I'm going to try another group, but this time I'm going to create a global group, not a domain local group, a global group. And so this is a domain global group, and I will go back to domain admins, go to members and add, and I'm going to try. So now I can find this, and now this group is part of, now this group that I just created with the name of global admin, this group is now part of domain admin group. Okay. So now the point that I wanted to make everyone, that I wanted you to kind of troubleshoot on this, and then I want you to understand that there are two types of groups in Active Directory. There is something called a local domain local group, and domain global group. So we created two groups there within our groups OU. I want you to create a domain local group. If I go into this, this is a domain local group, whereas the other group that I created, it is a domain global group. So guys, the point is that local group cannot be added to another group. Local group is only for the use of this own domain. You can add people to a local group, but global group can be added to other groups. So this is why in a global group, so this group is part of the domain admin group. Okay, hold on. Why is it not showing us? So I'm gonna press F5 and member of, oh, it should show us.
Sir, mine worked in member of tab, but in a member tab, when I tried to add, it was giving me an error message.
So you made it part of member of.
Yes, when I'm trying to add this in members tab, this is saying a group cannot be made a member of itself, but it was added as a domain group in member of tab.
Yes, yes. So here now,
Okay.
yes, so it is part of domain admin group. Okay, so the reason, Naveed, the reason why it is saying that it cannot be part of itself, because you might be adding it to itself. So that's the reason. Okay. Now, guys, this is a little bit tricky here, but I want you to focus. I want you to focus here. We have accomplished the task, but by creating a global group. So I created a global group, and within global group, I made it part of a domain admin group now. So local group cannot be part of a domain admin group because it's a local group, but global group can be part of a domain admin group, which is, you can see that in the member of, you will see that. So in order to do this, what you need to do, everyone, create a new group, which is a global group called Pass Global Admin. Just make a global group and then go into member of and make it part of domain admin.
So this is what I
Sir,
did.
sir, but mine was added, sir. I make it. I've sent the picture domain local, and that was that I made it, sir.
Okay, let me see that.
Yeah.
Zishan, and you're seeing it. So here, domain is Pass Domain Admin, and it is part of domain local group.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it is members of this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good, but why is, oh, okay. It's the,
I was able to make it, sir.
yeah, now it is working. Before it was not working. Okay. So Wasim, were you able to do it now?
Sir, the way that I did is I create one local group, one user group, one group, and then beside this group, I created a user.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then I went to the member of and add the group with the domain, and I can see both are okay.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Was it a domain local group or global group?
It's the domain local group.
Domain local group. Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
That so that's the task. Anyone else is having any challenge on this?
Bambi, what was the option to delete the thing? Where did we have to go from a view?
Okay. So in order to delete something, OU, you need to go to view and click on advanced features. And when you click on advanced feature, then you can go
Okay.
down to OU properties and go to object. And
Okay.
here you can unprotect and then delete.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Forgot about it.
Okay. Uh, okay, everyone. So this was a quick task to do this. I had another task, but since we are running out of time, we need to start today's topic. So we'll be going through these small little tasks every day, so that we can go into that troubleshooting mode and try to fix it mode, and then try to get a real exposure of this environment. Now, so just going through this one more time, what we did, we wanted to, so the task that the task was to create a group, local group, or and then make it part of domain admin group. Now, any group that is part of domain admin group, guys, always remember that domain admin group is one of the most powerful group in Active Directory. So it is the most powerful group, meaning that domain admin group can do anything. So anyone who is part of this group can do anything within the domain. Can delete user, can create user, change permission, create more OUs, delete OUs. So for that reason, in most of the companies, people are not part of this group. There are only few people that are part of this group.
Sir, I
So
have a question here.
yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, Naveed Bhai and Wasim Bhai was like they were able to create a group in the global group. I mean,
Mhm.
they were able to make it
Domain
member of
admin.
domain, right?
Mhm.
Member of domain. But I just sent you a picture. It clearly says that this global group cannot be a part of group member. I mean,
Okay, just let me see that. So object
global
this
group
cannot
cannot.
be added to domain admin because the global group cannot be added to a local group. Yes. So actually, this was the main thing that I wanted to say, that a global group cannot be added to a local group, but a local group can be added to a global group. So if there is a global group that is called, if there is a global group cannot be added to a local group, but local group can be. So this is why me, Wasim, Naveed, and Zishan, everyone is able to add that our local group that we created as a pass admin to a domain admin group, which is a global group. So, but if we do the opposite of it, that cannot be done. Right. So I mean, in other words, to understand, let's think of this as something like this. So local group is considered to be a smaller group, and global group is considered to be a bigger group. So you cannot fit a big box into a small box, but
Sir,
you can fit a small box into a bigger box.
sir, I have a small suggestion. Sir, can you
Yeah.
do this practically so that will clear you Bhatti Bhai and our as well, sir?
Okay.
Can you do, yeah, practically, sir, yeah,
I just did it, but I'll do it again. So
please.
here I have a group, and this is a local group. Okay, so this one, if I can show you the properties, this is a domain local group. Okay, and domain local group, if I go to the members, it is part of a domain admin. So the smaller group is part of a bigger group. But let me try to do it reverse. Reverse is that in the member, in this group, if I need to add domain admin to this here, if I say that domain admin will be part of this, So here, if I try to add domain admin, this will not work. So here, it's not even recognizing it. Yes. So the name of the group is domain admins.
So if you just click right on this group, and you'll get the option. From there, you'll get everything clear.
Okay. Okay. So if
So
you're
just click
saying that if
right
I
on.
go to
No.
users on the
On the
same group,
yeah, same group. Just
right
uh,
click.
click right. No. Just open this one and yeah, add to a group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here you type, you will get the option like search it. If you search it, you will get
Yes,
the
sir.
option.
You will set the domain, sir. You will find the option, sir.
Yeah, that you can like add as a domain.
So where should I go from here? Just type the name or go to advanced?
No, sir. Just type
No,
domain on this. You can
Okay.
type domain, and you will find the domain
so,
admin option.
yeah,
Okay.
check and see
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
here.
Okay.
Here,
Okay.
there
That's
we go.
good.
Yes, sir.
That's
Here,
good.
Yes, sir.
yeah, here we get
And if I
like
try to do it now,
yeah,
it is
there you go.
giving me that answer. So I mean, so this is what I'm saying, that a bigger group cannot be part of a smaller group. So this is why we are getting this, but this smaller group can be part of that other group.
Yes, sir. This is the thing.
Okay. And
Thank you, sir.
if we can remember just this, that local group is a smaller box and global group is a bigger box. So you can make this part of a bigger group, but bigger group cannot be part of a smaller group. So that's just the main thing. Okay.
Oh,
Uh, okay, so guys, this was one of the tasks that we needed to do, and the main thing behind this is not at the moment. I know that there might be some confusion among everyone that okay, how is it done, and what is the purpose of this, guys? The main idea behind this little exercise is that troubleshooting mind. I want that troubleshooting mind to be started to be working in all of our brains. That as soon as we give a task, you just jump on it and try to troubleshoot and fix it, because there are many ways to do the same thing. So in order to add that group, I can go to the domain admin group and add it, or I can do it from the local group and add it, or I should be able to right click on that and add to the group. So there are many different options, but the main thing behind this exercise is the troubleshooting mind. Okay, excellent, good exercise. So guys, today we are learning, we are continuing from the group policies. So let me jump on to the group policies here. So last time we remember a few things about group policy. So group policy is a policy. Number one, group policy. So this module is all about introducing group policies, implementing, administrating GPOs, group policy scope, group policy processing, troubleshooting group policies. This is lesson number one. And within the group policies, there are it's the configuration management configuration management is a centralized approach to applying one or more changes to more than one user or computer. And key elements of the configuration management are settings, scope, and application. And last time we went into the group policy management, which was GPM. Remember that we went into the GPM, and then we basically opened GPM, and within GPM we can see some sort of policies. Okay, and Naveed shared that previous definition that we did. It is used to allow or restrict services within Windows infrastructure. Exactly. So the things that we cannot do through permission, we control it through group policy. So that is one thing. And within the group policy, so last time we went into GPMC, which is a group policy management console. We created one GPO in that, and then we created some settings, and then we applied the settings on a client machine, and we saw that. Anyone remembers what setting we tried and what happened on the client machine?
Yes, sir. From tools, we went to group policy management.
Right. Right. And what happened on the client machine? What setting did we apply on the client machine?
Yeah, we disabled the task. We blocked the task manager.
Excellent, excellent. So we disabled the task We disable the task manager. Okay. So now let's understand that. So actually, I just wanted to go through quick slides here, and then I will explain that on the board. It's a very simple and very important topic that we need to go through. So before I can start drawing on the board and understanding that, let's quickly go through the slides. What do we have? So benefits of using group policy. Group policy is a very powerful administrative tool. So I'm just gonna read through these quickly slides, and then I'm gonna explain that on the whiteboard. At the same time, guys, I want to remind everyone that notes are very, very important. So please take notes while as we go on for our purposes, and also draw it as well. So the exercise that we just did, the exercise we just did. So you must have drawn that exercise on a rough page. Cause why we need to draw? Cause drawing it makes it a lot easier to understand. So here, group policy is a very powerful administrative tool. You can use it to enforce various types of settings to a large number of users and computers. Typically, you can use GPO to apply security settings, manage desktop applications, deploy application software, folder restriction, configure network settings. So these are all the things that we can do on the by using a group policy. Now, what is a GPO? What is a GPO? GPO stands for a group policy object, which is it's a container of one or more policy settings managed with the GPMC, stored in the GPO container, edited with group policy management editor, applied to a specific level of AD hierarchy. Now, what is the scope of group policy? Where are you applying that policy? And that is the scope of the GPO is the collection of users' computer that will apply settings to GPO. You can use several methods to scope the GPO, link the GPO to OU, link, filter the security setting, WMI, and GPO preferences. So GPO can be applied to local computer, it can be applied to site, it can be applied to domain and OU. Okay, so let's now understand this, and then we are going to come back to this. Okay. So guys, first of all, today, what are we trying to understand? We are trying to understand group policy, guys. Let's see how many people are present in this training attentively. Please type yes in the chat window, everyone, if you are present in front of and with your notes ready. Excellent. Thank you, Asher, Dishan. We have Wasim, Alamgir, Ashish, Faz. Excellent, excellent, everyone. Thank you. And Homen, are you here? Homen, and who is left? Salim. Salim is not. Salim is here. Um
I'm here, sir.
okay, very good. But I don't see your yes here.
Yeah, actually have a small baby laptop, so it's
Okay, okay.
to find.
So Salim, are you not able to do the labs in the in that laptop?
Yeah, yeah, I can. I have a different one.
Okay, okay. So what is the meaning of small baby laptop?
Like I'm listening your lecture.
Okay, you're listening to my lecture, but you're not taking notes.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
You,
I'm taking notes. Yeah.
okay, very good, very good. Okay, everyone. So let's start understanding group policy. Number one thing that we need to understand, how many companies are using group policies? So first of all, how many companies are using group policies? I would say all the companies. All of the companies are using group policies. This is how important group policies are to understand. How many are all companies? All meaning throughout the world, companies are using group policies. Throughout the world, all the companies all over the world, US, Canada, UK, Australia, China, Middle East, Asia, all the companies are using group policies. This is why it is important to understand group policies. Now, most of the time, group policy is just a collection of settings. So each group policy is a collection of setting and nothing else. So we create some setting, we create this setting and then apply it to two types of people. We can apply it to two types of people. We can apply it to a user, or we can apply it to a computer. So this is how simple is that. We create a setting and then we apply it to a user or a computer. Now, what is the difference between applying to a user and a computer? Guys, when you apply this policy to a user, wherever the user goes, the setting goes with him. So let's say I applied to Ellen. Ellen is a user, and then I applied that setting. And what was my setting? My setting was disable task manager. So disable task manager is one setting. This is one setting. When I apply this and I apply this to Ellen, now regardless of where Ellen is logging in, everywhere it will follow Ellen. So let's say Ellen goes to UK in your company and log into a desktop in UK. The task manager will be disabled for him. Okay, so if Alan goes to a Toronto office, so if Alan goes to Toronto office, it will be disabled for him. If Alan goes to Sydney office, wherever Alan goes, this setting will be applied to him. So, and that is the power of group policy. Wherever the user, but let's say if this policy is applied to computer, then it will only be applied to this computer. So, which means that whoever sits on this computer, that policy will be applied. So let's say if this policy is applied to a computer and there are three different people logging into this computer at different times. So in the morning shift, there is Mike logging in. Then in the evening shift, there is Dave logging in. And in the night shift, there is, let's say, Ellen logs in. So for all three of them, task manager will be disabled. But if these people log into a different place on a different computer, then it will not be logged. So that's one difference. So if we apply to a setting to a computer, whoever sits on the computer, it will be applied to him. If we apply to a user, then wherever user goes, that policy will follow and apply. This is one thing to understand. So policy is, what is a group policy? Policy is very important. It is applied to all over the, it is, group policies are used all over the world. And so this is how important is group policy. Most of the time for handling group policy, there are special admins. So group policy admin, they will, so there is a person dedicated just for group policies. In most of the companies, for handling group policy, there is a dedicated group policy admin. So not everyone will be given this opportunity to work on group policy. Why? Because this is related to security. This is exactly the same thing that when you assign a security guard in a building, most of the time that one person is responsible for that building, not the whole fleet of security guards. Different security guards are responsible for different places. So most of the time when you, in the past, I've seen some of my students, they were only they were only responsible for group policy. So they were employed as a group policy consultant or admin. So their main purpose was to make sure that group policies are applied to everyone. If, because group policies, so in a small network of, let's say, 10 to 15 computer, it's not a problem. You know, if the group policy will apply and it will be working fine. But in a network of 1,000 computers, in a network of 10,000 computers, you need a dedicated person to make sure that all the policies are going to everyone. And sometimes the policy mix as well. So some policies will allow, some policies will not allow, and the conflict can at the end result that the policy is not being applied, and it is, and the people are not restricted to that. So okay, so from this discussion we found out that group policy is a very important part of any organization. It is used throughout the world. Number one, what is a group policy? Group policy is nothing but a collection of setting. So in the last, we said that we created a group policy and then we applied to user or a computer. If it is applied to a user, then it will follow the user everywhere. If it is applied to a computer, then it will be applied to a computer, but whoever sits on that computer will be, that policy will be applied. So three things now we understand. Okay, so the second thing we need to understand is that what is the scope of group policy. So this is where the group, these are the settings that are applied, but where can you link the group policy? So the next question is, where can you link GPO? So group policy is mostly referred to as GPO. GPO stands for group policy object. So this is a group policy object. So GPO is a group policy object. Yes, Alamgir, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So for users, when they are in a one group, like maybe 20 or 30, so when you apply a group policy, so you like all the group gets same policy, right? So how you individually apply the policy like to
To
a
the
one,
individual users.
yeah,
Yes.
individual users one. And second thing, like if there are 5,000 clients, so in clients how you apply like policy to 5,000 like if you want to apply one policy to like every client,
All
so
5,000
you,
people.
you make
Yes.
a group or what?
Yes, yes, excellent, excellent. So, so both of your questions are relevant, and I'm going to park them for now here. So, your first question was individual user. How do we apply it to individual user? So this is one parking that I need to spend. And why am I parking this? Because we need to have that basic understanding, then we'll jump onto this. So this will be covered for sure. And your second is how do we apply to a collection of client machines? So this is I'm just going to write here 5,000 clients at the same time, one policy. So this was your second part, and I'm parking this here. Okay, so Naveed is saying either on object or a domain level. Most of the time, these policies are applied to individual user, not a domain. Because of these policies applied to a domain, then all the users will be impacted during, including administrator. Yes. So yes, this is true as well. So this is why we need to understand the group policy, that where you apply, so it shouldn't be applied to irrelevant people. Maybe let's say you create a most restrictive policy. Let's say consider this disabled desktop. I mean, I want to apply it to all the let's say I need to apply it all Mississauga users, but I need to exclude the manager, or I need to exclude the CEO of the organization. We don't need to restrict him from anything. So there are ways to do that. So, and we will understand that as we go on. So in the visual users. Okay. So, guys, the first thing that we understood today is group policy is just a collection of settings, and each group policy in one group policy, you can add 10 settings. Okay, I can add 10 settings to one GPO. How many settings can I do? I can add 10 settings or even 100 settings in one GPO. But guys, the recommendation from Microsoft is one policy, one setting. So recommendation from Microsoft is says that one GPO should not have more than one setting. One GPO, one setting. So why we are saying that? Because guys, according to Microsoft, and we have seen that in the real experience as well, if one setting, if one collection, if one policy has multiple settings, then it will be very difficult to troubleshoot. It will be, let's say, we apply 10 policies with 10 settings each. So this is one policy, it has 10 settings. This is one policy, this has 10 settings. This has one policy, this is 10 settings. And then we applied it across the domain in different levels. Then it will be very, very difficult to troubleshoot. Okay, so which policy and which setting is conflicting with which policy and which setting. So for that reason, Microsoft always recommend that when you need to restrict something, always create one policy and one setting, and then each policy should be named accordingly. So if this group policy is for disabled tasks, then the name of the group policy should be disabled task manager in Toronto area, or maybe in Sydney area, or maybe in UK area. Okay, so the first thing that we understand, group policies are very important, everyone. Number two, what is a group policy? Group policy is nothing but a collection of settings. Then it can be applied to a user, it can be applied to a computer. Now, where can you link a group policy? Guys, a group policy can be linked in four places. Group policy can be linked in four places. So number one is it starts with local. It is group policies are available on a local computer. So first of all, local computer. All the computers, they have a local security policy. Then on the network level, they can be applied to a whole domain. You can create a policy and apply it to a complete domain. Sorry, before the domain there is site, so we can apply this to a site first. So we can apply it to a site. Remember, site is the definition of site is a physical connected Active Directory. So site is always physical. Then it can be applied to a domain. A group policy can be applied to a domain, or a group policy can be applied to a OU, and then inside OUs as well. So group policies can be applied to these four places. First of all the computers have their local computer policy. All the computers have their local security policy, local computer policy, which means that as soon as you install a computer, it has some policies that are already there. It has some policy. So all the computers have a local computer policy within. If you go to a control panel, so all your laptop where you're watching this presentation, it has its own local security policy as well. But on the domain level, we can create a policy. I can connect it to the site level, I can connect it to a domain level, and I can connect it to a OU level. But here you can see that if I apply to a site level, if I create one policy, let's say disable control panel. So I create one policy with the name of disable control panel, disable control panel, and then apply to a complete site. Now the definition of a site is a Toronto area is a complete site. So Toronto area is a complete site, Mississauga is a complete site, and then Sydney is a complete site. So going back to here, let's first understand when you apply to a group policy to a site, then what happens? So GPO if applied to a site. So site can be a physical location. So first of all, it's a headquarter, and then you have branch offices. So you have branch office in New York, you have another branch office in Sydney, and then you have smaller branch offices as well, so which is let's say Mississauga. So these are, and then you have Brampton. Okay, so and this is your headquarter is Toronto. So your headquarters is Toronto, where you have this. Now policy can be applied anywhere. So you created a policy, and then you're saying that I need to apply it to a complete Toronto site. So if you're applying to a complete Toronto site, guys, remember that in that site, it will be applied to all the users and all of the computers, regardless of whoever is sitting in Toronto area. So there are normal users sitting here. There is a CEO. If CEO is sitting here, it will be applied to a CEO. If there are managers sitting here, it will be applied to all the managers. So if you're applying a policy to a site level, it will be applied to everyone regardless of whoever that person is. So guys, for that reason, site policy is not used very often, is not used very often. So one rule is the site policy is not used very often. Why is it not used very often? Because it has a huge big scope. It has a huge big scope, and you cannot control the scope of this. Yes, Alamgir, ask a question.
Sir, it's a just simple question. Like if there's a domain controller in Brampton and the head office is in Waterloo, so if if the admin from the Brampton, he applies any kind of policy,
Right.
so policy will go to the head office and it will be approved, or it will be approved from here, like from the domain controller
It
admin.
will, yes, it's a very good question. Everyone, the question is that if we have a domain controller, definitely we are going to have domain controller in each one of them, because we know that according to Microsoft recommendation, each city should have its own domain controller. So that's good. The second thing, what Alamgir is asking, it's a very important question, that if we apply a policy in Toronto, yes, we do understand that it will be applied to our Toronto users. What if the policy is made in Brampton? Would it still be applied to Toronto and New York and other places wherever you're applying? Yes, it will be. So if you're making a policy in Brampton and you connect it to Toronto site, then it will be applied to Toronto site. Okay. Uh, so guys, about the site, site policy is like is sometimes it is considered as disastrous. So it can be considered as disastrous because when you apply a policy and it is applied to a complete city, then it will be applied to everyone regardless of whoever there is. Now your question might be that can we filter some users? Yes, we can filter some user, but out of, let's say you have a big company and there are 20,000 employees in your company. So it will be a tedious task to filter out some people out of that policy. So the best approach is not to use site level group policy. We start with OU level group policy. So Naveed, you have a question?
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask you about the filter, but you answered it already.
Okay, excellent, excellent, very good. So, guys, about the site policy for the interview purposes. So, the first interview question is where can you apply group policies? Group policies can be linked to local computer, site, domain, and OU. But the question is about can I create a policy and apply it on site level? Your answer is yes. We can create a policy and apply it on site level. Then they will ask that what is the effect on applying to site level? Guys, the effect can be very dangerous. Why? Because if you are restricting any setting, it will be applied to everyone within that city. So for that reason, Microsoft says that site policy can only be used for only specific type of settings. So let's say you want to make some network setting for the network setting for the complete city. Let's say you wanted to assign a DNS IP address or maybe a proxy server IP address. So most of the time, site level group policy is only used for network setting and not for user setting or computer settings. Meaning that policies like this, disable task manager, hide control panel, those types of policies are applied on OU level. But if ever you need to apply something, a network setting, you can create a group policy and apply it on a site level, but most of the time site level group policies are not used. So okay, so that we understand. Now the second type of policy where you can apply, so let's say you created a policy, where can you link it? You can link it to a local computer. So local computer, so I'll keep writing that again and again because we need to understand. You can link it to the site level, you can link it to the domain level, you can link it to the OU level. So on computers, there are always policies, you can enable or disable them, but site level, we understand that only few types of policies can be linked to a site level. Now we are about to understand domain level. Yes, Naveed, ask a question.
Sir, my question to you is that suppose I have been given a task to apply a policy for all the employees who were hired from January 2019 to August 2019. So does Active Directory has this ability to find users or employees whose account was created between this time period? So that will be easy for me to apply the policies on those.
um okay, so your question is that you want to apply a policy for all of the users between certain dates and not to all of
Exactly.
them. Mhm.
No.
Yes, that can be done too, but this needs to be done through scripting because there is nothing, there is no predefined setting for this in the group policy. So yes, it's a very good question that if there are new users and you need to apply something only to the new user and not to everyone, then it needs to be scripted. We need to script and do it.
Okay. And in terms of scripting, like if you give some a little background, how can we do that? Or if we cannot, then who can do that?
Yes. Okay.
Like what will be the way for that?
Right. So for scripting, New York. Okay. So for scripting, scripting needs to be done by by third level expert. So third level expert meaning the people who are expert in scripting, the people who are coming with a developer's background. So most of the time we won't be doing any scripting. We won't be allowed to do any scripting. Even I won't do scripting. So only specialized people will do such type of scripting, and they can apply it because it's not just the scripting that they need to do. They first need to script it, then they need to test it 10 times, and then they will be allowed to send it to the production. So they have to be so it will be some expert person that will be doing it, so it won't be our task. Okay. Um, okay. You're most welcome. Faz, you have a question?
Yes, sir. So you
Yes,
said
please.
that GPU can be applied on local computers or site. And my question is like local computers, if they are joined to the domain, they're part of a domain.
Right.
Then how the locally the GPU is applied?
Okay. So yes, so local, so local, actually, what I meant by local, all the computers, they have local security policies. Okay. So all of the computers by default has local security policies. Now we can look at that. So for example, if I go to my Windows 10 machine here, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to my local, my Windows 10 machine. Let me see where is the local group policy. So if I search for the word local here, all of you can go onto your own laptop and just type the word local security policy. So all the computers, they by default come with local security policy. So if I open this, it will show us all the security policies that are currently available on your machine. Not necessarily they're all applied, but basically these policies are available. So if I go to here, local security policies, one more time, how do you go? And I want you to open, everyone, I want you to open that in your computer. Just click on start and type the word local security policy. So type the word local, even type the word local and open this. So I want you to see that there are some policies that are sitting here already. So let's say if I go to account policies here and if I go to a password policy, the password policy is already enforced on all of the computers, saying maximum password age is 42 days. After 42 days on this computer, it should ask for a policy, and most of the things are disabled. Most of the things are disabled. Guys, what happens is, as soon as a policy comes from the domain, as soon as the policy comes from the domain and it comes to my computer, then it basically makes changes to this local security policy. So it doesn't do anything else. It does make change. So policies are all available here, but all the domain policy does, it will enable or disable these policies here. So let's say if I make changes to a password policy and it's coming from a domain, then these settings will be changed. So this is why I said the very first policy that is applied is the local security policy, then the site level policy is applied, then domain level, and then OU level. Naveed, you have a question? Your hand is up.
Sorry about that, sir. I
No
forgot to
problem.
lower it down.
Okay, no problem. So guys, here, domain local policy. Domain local policy is applied. So guys, what are we trying to understand? Everyone, what we are trying to understand, that the policy is just a collection of settings where it can be applied. It can be applied on a local computer level. Local computer level, it will always apply, because this local security policy is available on all the computers. It's just not applied. So when the policy comes from a domain and come here, it will make changes to this policy, and this is why computer will apply that policy, because it's always here. Ashish, you may ask a question.
So when we actually make it, would it be copied over all to the other forests as well on the network?
When you make it, it depends on where you're linking it, right? So if you make a policy and you don't link anywhere, it is not going anywhere. But if you create
Like
a
on the net,
policy,
like on the site level, essentially, is what I was asking. Sorry, I should have
Yes,
rephrased that. So
on the site level, no, it will only be applied to your own forest. It won't go across the other forest. No, it won't go on
okay,
the other forest, because it's the policy that is applied in your forest. So that policy will have its own policies.
okay,
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 it's a
makes
good
sense.
question.
Okay.
So the second thing that we are trying to understand, what is a domain level effect? Guys, the domain level effect is, domain level effect will be that the policy when you apply. So let's say you create a policy, and so I'm creating a policy and then I'm applying it on a domain level. So if I apply it on this level, it means that it will automatically be applied to all the OU levels. So it will be applied to Toronto, it will be applied to Mississauga, it will be applied to New York, and everywhere. It will be applied to everywhere. So again, guys, when we apply to a larger scale, always make sure that that policy 10 times before you create, before you apply that policy to anywhere, just make sure that that policy doesn't, that policy basically is affecting your complete domain. So before applying the policy, always make sure that that policy is not restricting someone who needs to work and you're restricting them. Yes, Alamgir.
Yes, sir. You just mentioned that if there is a forest, it will not be applied to the next forest or other forest. But what about if the forest have a uh,
Is a
trust?
trust relationship. Yeah,
Yeah.
even if it is a trust relationship, it won't apply. It won't apply. I mean,
So
it is
what is it limited to, by like the trust? Like what are its limitations then in this case?
right, right. Very good. So just to clear out that confusion, let me try to understand the trust. So trust is anything that is a connection between two countries. So let's think of a connection between two countries. So when you create a connection between two countries, let's say US and Canada, what happens is, yes, they can trust each other, but you cannot apply policies of Canada in US and you cannot apply policies of US in Canada, right? Because those are basically policies. When policies are made, they are made according to the need of that country, and policies are made, they are made. So what is the main purpose of a trust? Main purpose is that there are some things that are not restrictive. So for example, in the real life, people with Canadian passport can easily, without any restriction, without any visa, they can travel from Canada to US. So this is an privilege that both of the citizens are getting from each other, right? But when it comes to the policies, policies are all country based, and this is exactly the case of forest trust between the two forests. So policies will remain on each side, but there are some privileges that both forests can enjoy. For example, user from forest 1 can use a printer on the forest 2, and user from this forest can use some can log into the servers on this forest. So that's the main purpose of the forest. It doesn't mean that the policies will apply. Policies are individual policies for both forests. Okay. uh,
So could we create? Sorry to interrupt. So just really quick, could we create a group which is like in common, and then apply a group policy to that, so that like users can actually have a certain amount of rule? Access from one place to another, like US or Canada.
No, no. So when it comes to the forest, when it comes
Right.
to a forest, when it comes to the group policies, there cannot be one GPO that can be applied automatically on both sides. So it's not the case. What you can do basically is that you can send the same policy to the other forest as well, and then create the same policy on the other side and apply to the users on both sides. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay,
but you
that's
have to do that manually. There is no automatic
right.
process, because guys, remember, forest is considered as something, you can think of this forest as a country. So Rogers has complete Rogers domain, there is only one forest. uh, and Fido is a different forest. So forest is one entity. It is considered as a country. So for that reason, when you even if you have a trust, even if you have a trust, we carefully look at the trust and we carefully configure the trust all the time. Trust is, even if it says it's a two-way trust. So two-way trust doesn't mean that both forests are open to each other. No, you still have to assign, you still have to give some permissions for these users to use something. Trust simply means that now you can enable or disable something, but by default, nothing is enabled. Only the trust is enabled, then you can set up permissions later on. Yes, Wasim?
Sir, let's say under one forest, there are 5 child domains.
Right.
Can I run one policy at a time on all 5 child domains if the policy is the same that I have to run?
Okay, just a second. So you're saying one forest and 4 child domains, and can we run one policy on different child domains? No. So even if the domain is different, the policy will be different too. The policies will be different too. So policies for each domain, it will be different set of policies.
So there's literally no way to actually even export it as a whole file to the
You
other
can,
domain,
you
is there?
can, you
Oh,
can,
we can?
you
Okay,
can.
okay.
But remember
Sir,
that
I have a question here.
no,
Just if you can add it.
yeah, just let me answer the first question. So Ashish said, is there a way that we can export the policies from one domain or forest and apply it to the other domain? Yes, that can be done. That can be done. And going back to Wasim's question as well, so let me try to answer all of them. So let's say I have one forest, and then I have a child domain. So this is a child domain. So this is one forest and child domain. When I create a policy here in the forest on this domain, so this is all one forest basically, but there are different domains. So but the policy can only be restricted to one domain. So this is in here all the policies are applied, but can you apply this policy to the child domain in the same forest? No, you cannot. You'll have to export this and then import this here and create a new policy and apply this here. And then if you have another child domain, you will have to do that on each child domain. Guys, this is when it comes to group policies. Okay. But going back to Ashish comment, yes, it's a very good thing that you don't have to recreate the policy. You can export that and import that here, but still it involves manual settings. It involves manual steps. What if after 2 months you make changes here, then you'll have to make changes here too. So it won't be an automatic thing.
So could we do it over the network, or do we have to physically do it like a
No,
network
no, it
key?
over the network. Over the network. You just need to log into the other domain and do it.
Oh, nice. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So everyone, this is why multi-domain environment is considered as complex. This is why it is considered as complex. This is why most of the companies every 5 to 10 years they go into consolidation of all the domains. So within years they have to expand for many reasons. One company is buying another company, then they create another for another domain. One company is partnering with another company, then they have to create a child domain. But every 5 to 10 years they go through a project called consolidation. So consolidation means they will try to consolidate everything back to one domain, if it is possible, if there is if they can. Why? Because this makes administration easier. Even it will be easier to control the security. Now if you're controlling the security, you'll have to control the security on all of the domains separately, right? So for these reasons, multi-domain environments are considered complex. If there is, you should consolidate them back to one domain. Okay. So everyone, so Wasim, is that your question or you have more questions?
No, sir. Thank you. It's more
Okay.
all clear.
Okay, excellent. So okay. So everyone, what we are trying to understand, guys, policies can be applied on, so count on your fingers, guys, count on your fingers. Number one is local policy. Number two is site policy. Number three is domain policy. And number four is OU policy. Now, when you create a policy and apply it to a domain, guys, that can be disastrous as well, but because it will be applied to all of the other, it will be applied to all of the child OUs as well. So if I'm applying on canaps.local, this policy will be applied to Toronto and all of the OUs under that, and all of the OUs under Mississauga, all of the OUs under New York. So only specific type of settings should be applied on canaps on the domain level. Then the next type of policy that can be applied is OU level policy. So you create one setting and only apply to Toronto OU. When you apply to a Toronto OU, it will be applied only on this level and not on Mississauga and not on New York level. So these are four places where you can apply policy. Policies are always applied to a local security policy on a computer. So all the computers have local security settings. When you create a policy, you need to apply it somewhere. You need to link it to somewhere. So you can link it to the site, you can link it to domain, you can also link it to OU. So Naveed has a question. Applying policy on domain site as well, it could be disastrous. Yes. So domain and site, yes, very good. So domain and site, guys, always remember for the interview purposes. I mean, think globally. Think globally, and always think of link it to our real life scenarios. I created a policy in Canada. It cannot be applied to US. US has its own policy. Can you apply a Canadian policy on US? If it is absolutely required, yes. So Canadian as security analysts or security admins, they will need to provide exactly the same policy. They can export the policy, send it to US, and say that that team, that US team needs to have that same policy applied. Then they can enter in Canada. Yes. So then they'll have to do it on that. But when the policy can be applied to a site, when it is applied to a site, let's say a complete city, then it will be regardless of whoever it will be applied. So most of the time we don't use a site level group policy. But then again, the interviewer might be interested, then why is there a site? Is there any type of policy that is? So most of the time, according to the book, and I've not seen any policy ever in any domain on a site level policy in any, because guys, it can be very difficult to control the policy that is applied on a site. But most of the time, according to the book, network type of settings can be applied to a site level, and domain level also. Only very common settings, that can be applied to your complete domain, including users in different OUs, all the child OUs and everything. Only very common settings will be applied, that can be applied to a complete domain. So common here, I'm just going to say common setting. So what can be a common setting? Common setting can be a password setting. So password policy is applied to all of them equally at the same time, saying that all the password must be complex password. So that password is a combination of small letters and large capital letters, and maybe some some special characters. Yes, Naveed, please ask a question.
So suppose if a policy is applied in error on one level, so just simply delete, or there will be a different kind of way to remove that policy.
Can you repeat your question? If the policy is what?
Yeah, so suppose that I'm working on policy and in error, I apply the policy on the Toronto level instead of Mississauga side,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So
Yes.
in this situation, like it is just simple, like select the policy, right click and delete or remove, or do we have a different way which we have to follow?
No, it's very simple. If the policy is applied on a different OU than where you wanted to apply the policy to, all you need to do is to unlink the policy and link it to where you need to apply. So it's very simple. It's very simple. But the problem with this is that when would you realize that it is applied on a wrong OU? Most of the time, we create a policy, you quickly apply to a site, and then you will close GPMC. And then later on, maybe after 2 or 3 days, you start getting tickets saying that, oh, Toronto users are not able to see the control panel. Why Toronto users are not able to see the control panel, where they should be able to see the control panel? And then there are different admins, then they will go and troubleshoot. So applying a policy, we need to think 10 times before we apply a policy, because when you apply a policy, its effects, you will see the effects in slowly within the network. Maybe not immediately. It might take 2 or 3 days when you see the effect of a policy. But if it is a wrong policy, then other admins will have to dig down why the policy is applied to Toronto. Was there a reason why is it applied to Toronto? So my answer to this is yes, we need to, when we create a policy, we carefully see where the policy is being applied and make sure it is applied in right place, because later on it will be difficult to troubleshoot and justify to remove it from Toronto and then apply to Mississauga. So in the beginning, it might be really simple. You got a request that this policy must be applied to Mississauga, but you apply to a Toronto site. But so later on, it will be difficult to justify that why you are now removing it from there and that then moving it to Mississauga. So for that reason, we'll have to be very careful with the policies. Okay. So everyone, policies can be applied on four level. You're most welcome, Naveed. So four levels: local security policy, site level, domain level, and OU level. So one thing that now we is clear to all of us, that policies. So the policy, whenever we apply a policy, it depends on where you're applying a policy. For that reason, always make sure what is the request and where you're applying it. And guys, this is the very reason why not all of the admins are allowed to work with policies. Because it should be a job of one admin. It should be a job of one or two admins who understand that where the policy needs to be applied. So for that reason, this is why always there are specific people who are allowed to work on security policy, because they know that if the request is legit request or it's not a legit request. So for example, a request comes to this person saying that, apply this policy to all the New York user. Now, since he is a security expert and he knows, this policy looks not really applied to New York, let me go back and confirm that. Do you really want to apply that policy? Why? Because this person is expert. This person knows, as compared to me, who is not an expert in this. I know how to do it technically, but I'm not aware of the background and I'm not aware of that. If I apply to this here, then it can affect many people. Now, let's say you're working as a company, you're working in that company as a system admin, and the security admin is on vacation. And now your responsibility is, they gave you that responsibility temporarily, saying that, that person is going for a vacation, please take charge of the security policy. And now somebody send you a request saying that, it's 8 p.m. in the evening, and there is a special request from the management that apply this policy to all the New York users. And then you are showing your efficiency, and you went into the group policy and you saw that, okay, the height control panel is a very simple policy. Just find it, enable that policy, and apply it to New York. And now the next day, nobody is able to go into the control panel. So for that, guys, always be careful that it can hit you back. It can hit you back big time. Why? Because you apply to New York, there is a legit request for this, but again the fingers will point to you, that why did you apply to a complete New York, even if there was a request to send to you, and there has to be that special permission from the management, and you have to have that all those emails. Let's say if somebody, this person where you're getting the request, this person mixed up Mississauga site and New York site, and instead of saying Mississauga, he said apply to New York. Even if it is his mistake, it will be considered your mistake. It will be considered your mistake because of you. You followed the instructions. Yes, you did follow the instruction, but it will be considered careless on your part. That why? Because since you are a security expert, why didn't you ask him, verify, or why didn't you, if you thought that this might be this doesn't look like a right place to apply the policy, why didn't you went back, or why didn't you back to your manager and stuff like that? So I just wanted to create that scenario and let you know that this responsibility is a very important responsibility. So just knowing a policy and then applying a policy is not part of the job. The part of the job is, you need to make sure that when you're applying a policy, it will restrict some people. Now, why these people are angry? Why these people are angry? Because of your policy, they are not able to do their job. And when people are not able to do their job, maybe for 15 or 20 or 1 hour, and then their meetings are delayed, their project is delayed, and everything is delayed, then everything will go back to the security person. That why did you apply that policy? Yes, you have that email. The most of the pressure will be on this guy, and he will accept that, oh, I'm sorry, I gave you a wrong OU where it needs to be applied. But then again, it comes to you as well. So we need to be careful for that as well. Okay. So guys, group policy. Before we can start creating our group policy, there is one more thing that we need to understand about a group policy. So group policy is nothing but a collection of settings. So we create a setting, we select a setting. So first of all, when we create a policy, so group policy, when we create a setting, When we go into a GPMC, now in order to create a group policy, we need to go to the console GPMC. So we need to go into GPMC, and then within GPMC, under GPO, we create a new GPO. This is considered as GPO. And when you open GPO, it will be open in GPME, which is Group Policy Management Editor. So we need to understand these as well. So within the editor, now here you can select setting. In this, there are two types of settings. There is users, so there is computer setting. So first of all, there is computer setting. So there is a computer setting, and within computer setting, there are two called policies and preferences. So once we go there, we will see that. And then there is user setting, and there is policies, and there is preferences. So if you select a setting under a computer, then it will be applied to computer. When you select a setting under users, it will be applied to user. So that's simple. So now there are three things we need to remember. One, that all the group policies will be managed from GPMC, number one. Number two, when you create a policy, that is known as GPO. So that is GPO. And where you edit the policy, that is known as GPME, the group policy editor. So the word is editor. So this is editor. This is console. This is console. So this is console, GPMC, Group Policy Management Console, Group Policy Management Editor. And here you will select the setting, whatever setting you need to do. So this is known as a setting. So setting like disable taskbar. So here, I'm just going to write here, disable taskbar. You can hide control panel, and so on. So these are different settings so once you enable or disable this setting, and then that setting will be part of this GPO, and then this GPO will be applied to one of these things. So it can be applied to a site, it can be applied to a domain, it can be applied to a OU, or inside there are other OUs. You can apply it to other OUs here as well. So this setting, so GPO, it's basically the GPO that is applied to all these different levels. So number three, it can be applied to a site, it can be applied to a domain, it can be applied to a OU. So, and whenever it is applied to a top level OU, it will be automatically inherited by other OUs. So that concept is known as inheritance. Inheritance, just like in our real life inheritance, the inheritance is shared from parents to children. So if you apply a policy on this OU, it will be automatically applied to all of the child OUs as well. If you apply a policy on a domain, it will be automatically applied to the complete chain. This is known as policy inheritance. But then there is another concept that is known as block inheritance. Block inheritance. Block inheritance. Block inheritance is a concept. If I go to one of the OUs, and here, if I select that option, here, if I go and select that option, it means that it won't get any policies from the parents. It won't get, so this policy that is applied on this level, it will be applied on this level, but from there on, because here you block the inheritance, here this policy won't be applied. So block inheritance simply means it's a block inheritance. You're blocking the inheritance. So now there are two things that we now understand. Number one is inheritance. All the policies are automatically inherited on all of the OUs. And secondly, there is something called block inheritance. If the admin on, let's say, in your Toronto OU goes in and right click on the policy and say, no, in my OU in Toronto City, I don't need any policies from the top level. Then the Toronto OU, the Toronto admin can go here and just select this option, block inheritance. The upper policies won't be applied. But then what happens in case if there is some domain policy that is very, very extra important, that is very, very extra, I'm going to put stars here. What if this policy is very important and this must be applied to everyone? Let's say you're not more interested in this policy. Okay, if this is blocked, it's fine, but the domain policy is the one that should be applied to everyone. So for that, in group policy, there is something called force. there is something called force GPO. Force GPO, when you create a GPO and you select that option force GPO, then it will override the block inheritance as well. So the interview and exam question is, if there is a policy that you need to apply and on multiple OUs there are block inheritance is applied, is there a way you can apply a policy even if the block inheritance is activated? Yes, the option is force inheritance or force GPO. We'll see that in the GPMC. So there are three things that we understand. Number one, inheritance, block inheritance, and force GPO. So you can block the inheritance by selecting this option, and then you can force GPO or force policy by going into this. So from this slide, we understood three things here. Now, going back to our basics here one more time. Just going back. What is a policy, everyone? Policy is basically a set of collections that can be applied to users and computers. If it is applied to a user, it will follow the user everywhere. If it is applied to a computer, it will only be applied to that computer, and but whoever sits in that computer, that policy will be applied. So two things. Then where can you link a policy? When you create a collection, when you create a policy, and before even going there, always remember that one policy and one setting. Always go with one policy, one setting. Yes, you can have multiple settings in one policy, but interview question and recommendation, exam prep, always remember Microsoft recommendation, create one setting, one GPO with one setting. Can you create multiple settings? Yes, you can create multiple settings in GPO, but one setting, one. And then where can you apply the policy? Policies can be applied on local computer security, site, domain, and OU level. So sometimes in exams it will be referred to as LSDOU. So this will be referred, you can, if you can remember like this: L means local security, a site, S means site, domain, D means domain, and OU means OU. So sites, so policies are always applied in this level. First the policy will be applied, first policy will be applied to the local security policy will be applied, then the site level will be applied, then the domain, and the last policy that will be applied will be OU level policy. So here, now the next thing we understood that on the site level, it can be devastating, it can be disastrous if you apply a setting and it will be applied to everyone. That will include a CEO. If the CEO is restricted to do anything, guys, if ever a CEO gets an error message on the screen, always remember that CEO directly calls your IT director, and the director calls directly your manager. So and then the manager will all over you all the time that why did you apply that policy and why CEO had to call my manager and then my boss and this and that. And so always make sure that we keep out executives out of all these. So executives are considered VPs and CEOs. Most of the time in most of the companies, their OU is totally different. So CEO and the VPs and their OUs are kept in different. So that is kept in a different place with where there is no restrictions for them and with more privileges actually. Then on the next slide, we understood that you can apply a policy and also on the domain level. When you apply a policy on the domain level, it will be automatically applied on all of the OUs. That concept is known as inheritance. So interview question is, why policies are automatically applied to all the child level? Because of inheritance. And then is there a way to block inheritance? Yes, you can right click on a OU and say block inheritance. But is there a way to force a policy? Yes, you have that setting as well. Force policy will override block inheritance. So that we understood right here. Now, before we can jump onto the lab, let's understand one more concept: the policy precedence. The policy precedence. Policy precedence is a concept in which policy policy precedence. Now policy precedence is something like this, that when you create a new policy, let's say policy has some setting, let's say it's saying hide command prompt, so nobody can run any command on their computer. So hide command prompt. That's a policy that you created, and then that policy is basically applied to, that policy is applied to a Toronto OU. Toronto OU, right? So it is applied only to a Toronto OU and not to a domain level. So I mean, above that there is a domain level, but this policy is applied to a Toronto OU. It means that it will be applied to all the OUs beneath this. So it will be applied to the manager's OU, it will be applied to the user's OU, and it will be applied to a group's OU that we just created. So in all of these, and it will be applied to computers OU as well. So right, so here you have managers, here you have normal users, here you have groups that we created, remember, and here we have computer accounts that we created. So when you create this policy, it will be applied to all of them. Now is there a way, so first of all you apply to here, it will be applied to all of them, it is called inheritance. But on the manager, you would go, manager say, you know, we don't need this policy, so here you would go and block inheritance. Block inheritance. Once you block inheritance, it means that this policy won't be applied here. Number two, but then on all of the policies, you need a domain policy to be applied. Domain policy must be applied. So on top of Toronto OU, you have domain. You have domain. You have domain, which is known as canaps dot local. So what would you do to this policy? So you will do, definitely you will say this is force, you will make it forcefully. So this policy will be force, which means that this policy will be applied to all of them, but the policies that you created on Toronto, you won't be applied to manager, but it will be applied to users and group. Yes, Naveed, go ahead.
Sir, my question to you is maybe that I misunderstood that if you have used block inheritance on the manager level, so it means that the policy will not be applied on the manager level, or the policy basically stopped there and will not go forward.
Uh, so it won't go even forward. It won't. So it will be blocked on manager. So if there are other OUs under manager, so for example, for now, users is on the same level of manager. So all the policies from the Toronto OU will be applied to users, groups, and computers, but not to manager. But if there are more OUs under manager, it won't apply.
Okay, so it means that managers will be in that policy or will not be in that policy.
Manager will not be in that. So that policy, hide control, command prompt won't be applied to anyone in manager and under manager.
Okay, but the policy will be applied on the other level except manager.
It will be applied to users and groups and computers.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, excellent.
And sir, I have a question.
Yes.
So this user, computer, and group forcefully, it will be applied.
On this is called inheritance. Yes. So any
Yes.
policy that is coming from the top level OU will apply to all of them. But since we went into the manager and say block inheritance, so only on this OU it won't be applied, but it will be applied to others.
And so this privilege is only for the managers, right? Block inheritance.
No, you can even go to users, and here you just need to right click here and say block inheritance. It can be done on any OU.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So there could be a scenario that like under manager level, suppose there are 5 managers, right? But there is one manager and we want the policy should be applied on the 4 except 1. So in this situation, what you can do?
Excellent, very good. So that is basically our next concept, which is known as security filtering. So security filtering is that concept in which you can only apply policies, security filter is a concept in which you can apply a policy only on a specific person, and so only on a specific person within the complete OU and not the complete OU. So which means let's say in this OU there are 4 user accounts. So 4 manager accounts are here, and you only wanted to apply a policy only on this user. So we can apply only on this policy. So instead of going going to block inheritance, we'll let it apply, but then we can use security filtering option. So I'll show you where that option is. We can security filter that option, that this policy will only apply to this one and not onto all these other options. So to answer your question, in order to do that, we use something called security filtering.
Okay. One more question, sir. How can you define policy precedent in one line?
Policy precedence in one line, it is the way policies are applied on different OU. So policy precedence defines that how policies will be applied within OU. So here I'm going to say how policies will be deployed.
Okay, so the way how the policies are deployed within OU.
Within the domain tree, within domain tree. Okay, so now if we can look at this here, the policy will be applied. Let's see if I can see it here. So now right here we have a policy that can be applied to a site level. That policy can be applied to a domain level, and policy can be applied to a OU level. So if the policy is applied on all these levels, and then the policy will be applied on local security. Okay, so now let's take an example that I am trying to disable I am trying to disable the task manager. So the policy is disable task manager. So this is one policy. When the policy is applied on the site level, it will be automatically applied to everyone within the site. So site level, we won't apply a policy. Let's say when you apply a policy on a domain level, then it will be applied to everyone in the domain, regardless of whoever is logging in. And then if you apply a policy only on the OU level, that policy will only be applied to a OU level. This we all understand. But what if there are two policies that will need to be applied on a domain level? Then what will be the precedence? The precedence is always like that last policy that is applied will override the other one. So let's say on a domain level, there are two policies. One policy is saying disable task manager. So this policy is saying disable task manager. And the second policy is saying enable task manager. So which policy will be applied to the complete domain? So guys, the answer to this question is whichever policy was applied last. So this is last policy wins. Always remember, for exam purposes, for everything, whichever policy will be applied in last. So first policy will only always be applied. When we go into the policy, we will see that there are numbers on the policy. So the first policy means first policy means that the first policy will be applied and the second policy will be applied. So in this case, this second policy will be applied first and then the first policy. So this policy will win, which means that all the users task manager will be enabled. Task manager will be enabled, and we'll see that in the lab as well. So here also I wanted to make one more point here. I know that it's a long discussion. We need to start with the lab here. Just one last point I wanted to make, guys. Whenever a computer starts, now always remember, whenever a computer, so we are now looking at the policy. So there are two things here. Number one, a user and a computer. So normally when a user starts a computer, when we all started a computer, what happens is that there is all the computers have one policy that I already showed you, and that is known as local security policy. Local security policy. So that local security policy is always applied. Now, when the computer is first time started, within the policy, there are two types of settings. There is a user setting and computer settings. Remember that there is a user setting and a computer setting. Guys, whenever a computer is started, very first thing happens that all the computer settings will be applied to a computer. So this is one. And then when the user logs in, then all of the user settings will be applied. Does this make sense, right? Because the computer is started and you're not logged in. Can you log in before the computer is start? Before computer starts? No, the computer must be started, then you can log in, right? So the very first policy that applies on a computer is the computer settings, and then the user settings will be applied. So if the computer setting is saying that some setting is enabled and the user setting is saying some setting is disabled, then the last policy that will run is the user policy. So which means that user policy always wins over computer policy. Yes, Naveed, you have a question? Okay.
So it's just my bad habit that I forgot to lower the hand down on
Okay,
this. My
it's okay.
apologies.
It's okay. It's okay. So, guys, here, so the very first thing, always remember for the exam purpose, always remember for the interview purpose, the whenever the computer starts, the computer settings will be applied, and when the user logs in, then user settings are applied. So, which means, let's say the computer is started. The computer is started, but nobody has logged in, which means that user settings are not applied yet. User settings will only be applied when the user will log in. So this is one thing to remember. Now, this is in case of if the computer is not part of Active Directory. So this is only when the computer is not part of Active Directory, not AD joined. So this is for a machine. So which means that all the computers that we have at home will all go through this. So they always local security settings of computers are applied, then user setting. Then why don't we see anything? Because guys, in here there is no restrictions. So when here everything is open, most of the things are open, there is no auditing policy, so not auditing, there is no user rights. So there are some policies that are applied, but most of the things are not defined. So there are very few things that are applied here to guest, and then there are not everything is applied. So disabled, 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 not defined, not defined. So most of the things are not defined. So this is why we don't have that type of restriction. But when a computer is joined to Active Directory, then what happens? So guys, when a computer is joined to Active Directory, what happens is the very first thing that is applied is local security policy. So here I'm going to say when PC is AD joined. So when the PC is AD joined, then the very first setting that will be applied is local security settings. So local policy will be applied, and then the site policy will be applied, and then the domain policy will be applied, and in the end, OU policy will be applied. So now my question to you is, if there are policies all the way from all of the sites, so let's think for a second, let's assume for a second that all of them have policy, which policy will win at the end? Which policy will be win at the end? Would it be the site policy? Would it be the domain policy? Which policy wins at the end?
Last
Organizational unit.
OU.
last
OU
one.
OU policy, the last one, because we said whatever the last policy is applied, that will win. So which means that let's say if there is one policy on all of them, so the first policy is saying there should be, it's saying that hide control panels. Hide control panel here. Here it says do not hide control panel. Here it says hide control panel. So the last one that wins is that hide control panel. So I'm just giving you as an example. This is important for troubleshooting purposes. Now, guys, in the lab, what we are going to do is this. So in the lab, what we are going to do, log into server number 1. We will be logging into. So, oh yes, a very, very important part, guys. Group policies. Group policies. Always remember this sentence. Group policies cannot be uh, group policies cannot be applied to groups, cannot be applied to groups. So always remember that. Group policies cannot be applied to groups. Now, what type of groups I'm referring to, guys? Remember that at the start of today's lecture, I said create a local group and the global group and all that. So group policies cannot be applied to local group or global group or universal group. So group policies are not applied to. So this is an interview question. So I have an admin group. I need to apply a hide control panel policy. So it's a trick question. They are trying to trick you that there is a group where you need to apply a policy. Always remember that group policies cannot be applied to groups. Group policies can only be applied to sites, domain, and OU. Group policies can only be applied to site, domain, and OU, and local security policies there. So this is a trick question they might ask you. So the answer to that question, for the interviewer asking you a question, I have a group called backup operators. I need to apply a group policy of a certain setting. Give me steps to apply a group policy. Now, you as a technical person, you as an expert on group policy, you would say, okay, I will go to GPMC and then create a group policy object, and then I will go to edit group policy editor, create a setting, and then apply it to a group. So that will be a wrong answer, although technically it's fine. But the wrong answer is because group policies cannot be applied to groups. Group policies can only be applied to site, domain, and OU. Okay, so group policies are linked to site, domain, and OU. So this is one thing. So in the lab, this is what we are going to do, everyone. So first of all, we will log into server number 1. So everyone log into server number 1 and where the Active Directory is. So log into AD, open GPMC, and then create a policy. So we need to create a GPO. So always remember that GPO has 3 steps. Always remember 3 major steps. Create a GPO, link the GPO. No, sorry. Second one is create settings, and then link the GPO. Just 3 things you need to remember about all the group policies. So first of all, create a GPO. Number 2, configure settings, whatever setting you need to restrict or allow. Configure settings. And the third is link the GPO. That's it. Link a GPO to OU or domain, wherever you need. So we need to do these things. So for now, what I want you to do is log into AD, go to GPMC, create a GPO, and now we will create a GPO and we will configure a setting, configure a setting, and link to configure a setting. So the setting that I want you to do is you need to attach a certain wallpaper to all the users in New York OU. So I'll go to the next screen here, and I want you to do that on your own if you can, and then I will show you. So so the idea is we need to create a setting, create a GPO to apply a wallpaper. Apply a wallpaper. What is a wallpaper, everyone? Wallpaper is this screen. So is this wallpaper? Is this screen. So this is a screen wallpaper. So meaning that on the computer in the Sydney users, when a Sydney user logs in, he should be able to see a certain wallpaper. Whatever wallpaper, take any picture from your computer, and you need to apply that. So so here, create a GPO to apply a certain wallpaper to Sydney users OU. So this is what everyone needs to do. So now the challenge in managing GPO, guys, the challenge in managing GPO is to find the right setting. So there are ways to find the right setting, everyone. We need to be smart. We need to be smart, and everyone is smart here. I know. And so being a smart person on your own, you will research on this. So maybe what I would do, I would quickly go in Google, Google with this, Google this, applying a certain wallpaper using GPO. So I'll just quickly Google for this, find a GPO to apply a wallpaper, and then go to different sites within GPO, within, within different websites, whatever website seems good for you. They will give you step-by-step approach, or maybe you can just change to images and they will just point to that, select that one policy setting, and then you need to apply it to GPO here. Guys, let's see if you can do that on your own. So you have 10 minutes. I'll give you 10 minutes. Also, this 10 minutes will be used for a quick break as well. Or do you need a 5 minutes extra break?
5 minutes extra break.
Okay, 5 minutes extra break is fine. As soon as you come back, and do you want to work in group of two, or you can do it on your own for now? I can create a breakout groups too. I think try this on your own. This time, just try this on your own. Before going for a break, before just going for a break, this is the task you need to do. Create a GPO and then restrict a wallpaper in Sydney OU. So three things, guys. Whenever I give you a task, please follow this exactly as it is said. So if there is spaces, so I want you to be in that habit. Just follow exactly the same instructions, but in a smart manner. Just search and apply. Your 5 minute break starts now, everyone. Your 5 minute break starts. Everyone, freshen up, move around here and there. And then after 5 minutes, let me know in the chat window when you start working on this. Okay, thank you, Naveed. You don't want a break, Naveed? You said that you need a break.
Yes. So okay.
I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you. If you want to just do it now, it should take no more than 10 minutes.
Yeah. Let me finish it. No, no problem. That's fine.
Okay. Once you're done, any help, just provide a window, whatever helped you in in WhatsApp as well, so that maybe others can follow up quickly.
Sir, I have a question here.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back after the break. Sorry, I had to uh, take some medicine. Okay. So, what are we doing, everyone? So, here we are. Need to, anyone was able to create a GPO, find the setting somewhere?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, color and appearance.
Yes, sir. We send the pictures,
Okay,
but
I'm looking at the pictures now. And also test it. You need to test it. So when you apply to Sydney OU, make sure there is some user in the OU and log into the client and see that if it is working.
sir,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
wallpaper is not working because I think we need to create a folder and save a wallpaper there, and from there we will be able to attach it. Because when we try to apply the wallpaper here, it does not allow to go further.
Right, right. Yes. So, yes, very good. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that. And I'm looking at the pictures here, and Naveed shared disable desktop, and Wasim shared a picture. Alamgir shared a picture. Okay, everyone shared a picture. So, guys, here within this picture, so within this picture, if I look at this picture on the whiteboard on here, so in this picture, it says the wallpaper name is, it is sitting in the C drive, Windows, web, and wallpaper. Now, in this place, right here under the setting, it also gives you an saying that you can use a UNC path. UNC path. UNC simply means that you can take that, you can put that on somewhere on the server and then use the link below. So double backslash server name and then share, and then you can use it in this manner as well. Or you can copy that on the C drive and then use just simply C drive of your client computer and then use it. So it both ways can work.
I tried to copy it, sir, but I cannot.
Okay. Okay, no problem. So now I'll try it. So first of all, I need to know before I can start searching for it. It is in the is it in the user setting or the computer settings?
Users.
It's in the user setting. Okay. So I'll just create it now. So I'm going to the server now, and the idea is that, so guys, always always start on the simpler side. I mean, try to so I'm looking at the task. The task is basically a ticket that comes to me. And guys, in your notes, both of the tasks that I gave you is considered as your real experience. So when you go to an interview, they would say, just tell me an example of two of your, example of your real experience. So both of the tasks are your real life experience. First one was that you had to create a global group, make it part of the domain group, and you need to know the steps. And second one is this one. The ticket says that you need to create a GPO to apply a wallpaper, certain wallpaper to Sydney OU users. Okay. So write that maybe at the end of your notes, just give a heading of day-to-day task, system admin day-to-day task. And I want you to create a list of these tasks as we go on in every lecture. Okay, so what I am going to do is, so I'll try to first sketch it on my whiteboard here. I mean, this is exactly how I do it in the real environment. So let's say I get a ticket, and the ticket you get it on a ticketing software. So you can get a ticket on the ticketing software, and here I get a ticket. Okay, I need to create a GPO, number one, and I need to. So first of all, I need to find some settings here, and then I need to apply. So first of all, I need to go into my Sydney OU and see how many users are there. So I'm going to go into my Sydney OU, and within users OU, I see there is only one user, that is David Hanks. David Hanks is a user, and I will log in with the user. So user is there. I'm gonna go into my machine here, and what I would do, I would first of all log in without applying the policy. So I'm logging in without applying the policy. So I'm gonna sign out from everyone. So while this is signing out, I will open GPMC on this one. So first of all, I look for GPMC on my taskbar. Guys, always look at the taskbar. I want you to be, last time I also mentioned that, please now we need to act professional, everyone. If the taskbar it is open, you don't need to open it again. Okay, so here, if I go here, I can see there is only the group policy management is already open here. Next time when I see your screen, I don't want to see multiple GPMC open. Though it's not a huge big mistake, but it looks unprofessional if you keep on opening again and again and you don't have a look at your taskbar. So here I am in my GPMC. So in GPMC, this is GPMC, and in GPMC, I can see that there are different policies, but my first stop is GPO. So this is my first stop, which is GPO group policy objects. And here I see all different types of objects. So here I need to create a new object. Before I can create an object, I wanted to log in with David Hanks, which is a user. So I'm going to log in with other user and say, I think this was the name, D Hanks, and the password was password 1. Let's see if the user can log in. So user is trying to log in, and I will go back here, and what I will do, I will create a new object. So first of all, I can create an object. Can you create a GPO in anywhere? Yes, you can create a GPO anywhere. Guys, everyone is attentive, please type yes in the chat window. If everyone is attentive, please type yes in the chat window, and we need to become a GPO expert here. Thank you, Faz, Asher, Ashish, Zishan, Human, excellent, Salim. And okay, so we can create a GPO anywhere. So I can right click on New York and I can create a GPO. But remember, when I create a GPO in New York, it will be linked to New York. If I create a GPO in here, it will be linked to the domain. And if I go into sites here, guys, if I go into the sites here, I need to just say show sites. And within sites, I need to first enable sites here. Guys, here you can see you can see the way Microsoft is being careful. The way Microsoft is being careful, when you click on site, you're not seeing any sites, because they don't want you to apply any policy on the site, because it can be disastrous. So why are they careful? Because it's a security risk. If you create any setting and apply it to a site, it will be applied to anyone. But if you need to apply anything, so you need to first go into show sites. First of all, you need to click on enable site, and then you can create a group policy here. Then you can link a group policy. So which policy do you want to link? Let's say if I go into Toronto site and then link this policy right here, now this is applied to a complete site. So meaning everyone who is logging in here, and essentially at the moment we have only one site, Toronto site, and all our users are in that site. So all of the users will now have this policy enabled. So I'll link it here. So everyone just do this step as well. First of all, right click on this and show site. Your might be default first site. You might not be a Toronto site, because I went into the sites and services. If you want to rename it, you can also rename it from from right here, going into the tools and going into sites and services. And when you're in the sites and services, right click on the default for site and rename that to Toronto site. So here you can just right click where you have that blue building type of icon. You can right click and rename this. You can rename this to a default for site to a Toronto site. Once you rename this, or if I create more sites here, then all the sites will be here. So what happens is here, now that I have applied a policy, so first of all, you need to right click on sites and show sites. Guys, once this step is done, just let me know. Just say done in the chat window. Guys, I need your quick answers here. So please do this. First, say
But if you don't mind, can you
so.
repeat again the step
Which
from
one
the beginning?
to rename the
Like,
site?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The
So
top one I was looking, the like
okay.
domain.
So yes. So first of all, in order to rename the site, you need to go to Server Manager, and then go to Tools and go to Active Directory Sites and Services. So once that is open, it will be, so I have this here open in my taskbar. Once that is open, you need to expand sites, and here you will see the name default first site. So here, if I say this, it's a, I think this will be named like this, default first site with I think dashes on. So your site name might be like this. So all you need to do is right click on this and rename this to a Toronto site. So once that is done, let's say if I have this done here, and if I go back to GPMC, let's see if the name is changed. Oh, the name is gone and I need to show that again. And here I see default first site. So your might be like this. And then once this is that, I will go back and here within Active Directory Sites and Services and rename this Toronto site. And once you do, you can come back in GPMC, Group Policy Management. Where do you get the Group Policy Management from? Group Policy Management is right here in the tools, Group Policy Management. So once you're in Group Policy Management, um, in here, you need to expand this and sites. In the site, you won't see anything. In here, you just say show site and Toronto site and click OK. So once you click OK, here it will give you disable task manager. Okay. So once this is done, guys, if it is done, Naveed is saying it's done and Dishan is saying it's done, it's fine. And what about everyone else?
Sir, I have to click the sites.
In
Send
G
you picture.
Okay, thank you, Alamgir. And Salim, you need to, are you on the screen, GPMC?
Yeah, yeah, I'm on the screen. Yeah.
Okay, just expand the site. And
Okay.
then do you see anything under site?
Yeah, I saw the sites and group policy.
Okay, no.
Yeah,
Okay, so which means that you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
see your site. You don't see your site. So right click on the site and say show site.
Okay, 1 second. Yeah, yeah, I got it. Turn on.
Turn on and now you should see your site name.
Yeah, I saw the like Toronto.
Okay.
Is that
Yes, and that's it. And all you need to do, right click on Toronto site and then just say link
okay?
existing GPO.
Oh,
And then link whatever you have. Last time we created disable task manager, just link it here and it will be right here. Okay, so which means anyone who is logging in will be getting this GPO. Okay, so now that is that, and now I'm about to create a new GPO. So in order to create a new GPO, everyone, all we need to do is this. I need to go into GPO, and here I will just say new GPO. So the GPO name will be, company wallpaper. Company wallpaper, the company background wallpaper. Company background wallpaper. So I'm creating a new GPO, everyone. So you just right click on
Sir,
GPO.
1 minute, sir. I'm lost, sir. Uh, Before group policy options were open, now it's not open, sir. I don't know how to.
Yes. So group policy object, you need to go into server manager and tools and open group policy management.
So what we have to make, sir, like a new
New GPO.
GPO?
Yes.
Yeah,
So once you right click, the name of the GPO is this.
yeah, I did already. Yeah,
Okay, so right click and name of the GPO is this. Once
yeah.
this is done, then right click on this and say edit.
Oh, okay.
So now once you are connected with this, it will open GPME, Group Policy Editor. So the other one was GPMC. It doesn't say console anymore. In 2008 and 2012, it used to say Group Policy Management Console. In 2016, they're just calling this Group Policy Management, but in documentation, this still refers this to as GPMC.
Sir,
So
I have a question.
yes, please
Sorry.
go ahead.
Yes, sir. When I created the like site, I changed the name to Toronto. It does not give me any option. It gives me option for delegate, control, find, all task, view, delete, rename, fresh, export.
Rename, 10.
I did it, sir.
And
I renamed it to Toronto, right? So
yeah.
after that, you said it like if you right click, it will give me option to link it.
Oh, that will be in GPMC. So renaming is done in Active Directory users and sites and services. So close that and come to group policy management.
Oh,
So can you take control of my computer and see? Because
Sir,
Okay, just a second. Okay, so share your screen, please.
I'm not getting that.
Okay, so now I can see your screen and you are in site and you right click on Toronto,
Yes, sir.
right click and link existing GPO. And here, okay, so here you don't see the one that I did because we created that in the last class.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
But
so
sir,
yeah.
not getting even that option like a group policy editor and all those things.
Oh, that I will show you next. So here you can link the wallpaper group. Right click on it this again and link. And for now we need to link something. So just link say wallpaper change. Yeah.
sir, in my users, the name was changed, but in GPM, it's not changed.
In your GPM, yeah,
It's not.
for GPM you need to refresh this. In GPM, just refresh this, then it will go away, and then you need to right click again on the site and show site again, then you will be able to see that.
I did it, but I can't still.
Okay, I will so try it.
But sir,
I will check
I'm
that
not
out right after. Yes.
I'm not getting the option group policy and that thing.
Yes. So Faz, just expand domains,
Okay.
and then expand this domain
Okay. Okay. Now. Group policy.
and go to group policy objects.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Faz, I have a question for you. I mean, so your question was to find where is the group policy object, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So
No, before that, sir, it was open, but then I was trying to open it again. I couldn't find it.
okay. So now is it okay for you?
Yeah, no, it's okay, sir.
Excellent. So expand this before I can disconnect from here. Expand this quickly.
This one?
Yes. Group policy object.
Okay.
And here we see only those policies that exist in your domain. So right click on group policy object and create. So you already have new policy called wallpaper change. Now,
Yes.
in order to get the editor, you right click on that wallpaper change and then click edit. Once you click edit, then it brings the editor.
Okay.
Okay. Now here we need to find the policy. So someone said that that wallpaper policy exists in the policies section. Okay. So just go down on the policy section. Now the best way to find the policy, everyone, and I'm going to disconnect from here now. Okay, so it's okay if I can disconnect.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay. So and Alamgir, do you want to connect your machine to see that where you need to do that?
Sure, sir. I can see it like the Toronto, but the site did not change. But it's better. Just please check it. Why
Yes,
it is.
yes. Please share your screen.
So here, sir, when I click the site, it shows me that the name is changed. It didn't change here.
No, no,
But
hold on. I cannot see your screen. Faz, can you unshare your screen, please? Okay, now I can see your screen. Yes.
okay.
So just click the checkbox. Alamgir, click the checkbox beside this, and then click OK.
Yeah.
And now expand the site.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and expand Toronto. Yeah. So you now see that site, and right click on that and attach a policy.
Okay.
Any policy. Okay. So everyone, we have I think, how much time do we have? We have 1 hour to go. We have almost 1 hour to go. So everyone, I need a change of mode here.
So if you don't mind,
Yes.
just for 1 second, I just tried to copy from here, from the like
Picture. You need to copy a
on,
picture.
yeah, just the wallpaper. After that, I tried to I made a like a folder in the C drive. I I tried to paste it, but it didn't like it was not able to
Okay.
paste.
Okay. So how did you try to paste it?
Just right
No.
click and
Okay. And where is the folder where you're pasting it?
it's in the C drive. I just
Okay,
made
no,
it.
no, 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 no. Hold on. So in order to get the picture, first of all, you decide which picture you want to get. So you want to get which picture do you want to get?
Just suppose this one, and then I
Okay.
did
Okay. So
copy it.
first of all, click on that picture. Click on that picture so that you can see the bigger picture. Okay.
Okay.
So this bigger picture. Now right click on this and save that on your C drive. So right click and save
Copy.
image as.
Okay.
Save image as. Now save it where you want to save. So you need to save it. So everyone, this is how you need to get a picture, or you can get any picture. So save it in your C drive where where you wanna get the desktop file from.
I just made a folder here, but I don't see it here.
Okay, so this is your server. Did you made a folder on your client machine?
Uh, yes, sir.
So
I,
if you did that on the client machine, then you need to do
not
the
in the
same.
client machine, sir, in the server, because I need to save in the server, right? After
Okay.
that, I need to apply, right?
Okay, so you're saying that you created a folder and you're not able to see that here.
Uh, yeah, I just created like a folder here in the C drive.
It's
So I
okay. It's okay, Adamgir. I think just save it on the C drive directly so that we can make it more easier. So save it on C drive. Maybe rename this something, wallpaper or something. Okay, and
don't have
yeah,
permission.
space. Okay, so it's saying that you don't have permissions to save it on C drive.
Yeah.
So save it in the pictures.
Okay.
Okay, it's saved now. Now you can go back to the policy. First of all, just make sure where it is saved. So right click on that wallpaper. So go, no. On the same page, on the
Uh,
same page. No,
this
no,
Sorry,
page.
not
sir, my
here.
laptop.
Not here. Where it says wallpaper.jpg, which is
Oh, sorry.
right click on this.
So,
Right click on this.
right.
Oh, it's gone.
It's
Okay.
gone. I
So
think it was in the photos.
okay, just yeah, you can go there and see.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it, sir.
Okay, picture is here.
Yeah.
Now now you need to see where the picture is in the path. Okay. Um, so I'm trying to make this. I mean, if everyone it is easier for you, you need to just download any picture, and this is in the picture. So Alamgir is not giving you a picture. So hold on. So I'm requesting
Give
a
it me.
remote control from you.
Sure. The-
Okay. So
Giving me.
now, yes.
Sir, if
But
you don't mind, can
I
you
have
repeat
a question, sir. You
those
cannot
steps?
copy it.
No, no, you can copy it. Yes, somebody saying something?
Sir, my laptop was down, so shut down. So if you don't mind, can you repeat the steps?
Yes, 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 we can, we can. We'll
I don't
repeat
know.
the steps. I'm just trying to fix Alamgir's here, the question. But I'll give you simpler steps than this. I'll give you
Okay.
simpler steps than this. Okay, so Alamgir, in order to see that picture, you need to go to Windows Explorer. And here, let's go to Pictures. And here is the picture.
Yep.
Okay, so you can right click on this picture. If you need to copy it, if you need to copy this picture to a client machine, or you can also go to the policy and also you can refer to this link. So see user, inside user, then picture, then saved picture. Okay,
We can copy it, right, sir?
you can copy this complete and you can bring this to, you can copy this inside the policy, number one. But if you want to copy this on the client machine, then from here you need to connect to the client machine by writing the client machine's name. What is your client machine name?
It's Contoso CL01.
So type here Contuso CL01.
Uh,
No, just type C. You're missing C.
I think so. Isn't this his main laptop though?
Is this your main
oh,
laptop or your
yes, sir.
server?
It's in like yeah, it's a main
This
laptop. So
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So in that case, just hold on, just hold on, just hold on. Just let me. So in that case, minimize everything. Minimize these VMs. Minimize yes this screen and also this screen, and then just a second here. So you can just drag it. If you can minimize, if you can make it a smaller screen, you can just drag that picture right on the desktop here.
okay, I think picture was here, if I'm not wrong.
No, maybe, no.
you might have to copy and paste it actually.
No,
No.
So
sir, it's
Control
not.
C and Control V.
Yeah,
So
copy
just
and
go to
paste.
the picture, Control C and Control V it onto the VM.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I cannot copy, right, sir?
Here you have copy.
You have to copy it. That's the only way to actually get it. So
Yeah.
copy it and then
Yeah.
paste it.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I think I made I got it. I made folder here, I think. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I got it now.
Okay. Now within the setting, you can change it. Okay. So I'm gonna
Mm,
share my screen now.
sure. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're most welcome. Okay, so everyone, what we are trying to do here is, okay, getting a file is, you can get a file from anywhere.
Sarji, if you don't mind, can you tell me that like my policies is not showing?
Okay, yes. So in order to see the policy, number one, in order to see the policy, are you in GPM, group
Yeah,
policy management?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Can you see group policy objects
yeah,
or you cannot?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see. Yeah,
So what do you see your new policy that you created, wallpaper policy or whatever the name is? You
yeah.
don't see that?
When I click on group policy, is showing it like default domain controller and default domain policies.
Right. And other than that,
New group policy object.
okay, that's fine. You can create a new policy. Have you created that policy or you haven't created any policy?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so right click on group policy object and say new.
Okay, new.
And then here, just say company wallpaper or wallpaper, any name.
Company wallpaper.
Okay, so once this is done, then you can
Yeah,
right click on this and click edit.
I have to click OK then.
You need to click OK, yes. After
Yeah,
clicking,
then right click.
then right click on that policy and then click edit.
Okay. Yeah, now it's showing a computer configuration and user configuration.
Right. So now we need to find that policy, guys. So some of you have found the policy maybe from where? Maybe from Google, or anyone tried to find the policy from the editor? Okay. So
Yes,
I
sir.
think okay. So from the editor, you can also find the policy, and Wasim also shared the screenshot where the policy is, and the policy is in the policies. Then you can go to administrative templates, and from here you need to go to control
All.
panel and display. And here you can say disabled. Oh no, this is disabled
No,
display
sir.
control
You
panel.
have to go to the all. Go to the
So go to
all,
all settings and
Yes.
then find desktop wallpaper.
and then just
Okay.
type
Okay.
Okay.
that
So you
all.
need to go to, but are you sure you're in the all templates?
Yes, sir.
And then go to all settings.
All
Search,
settings.
search it. Just put wall.
Where should
Sir,
I put wall?
just click right
Right.
on right click and filter it.
Filter on,
Oh,
filter
you're
options.
saying through the filter. Okay. I thought
Yeah.
maybe you were saying that where to find it.
No.
So yes, everyone, I wanted to show Salim, you need to go into the policies, then go
Yeah,
into administrative templates, right click on
yeah,
all filter, just click on filter,
yeah. I
or
did already this one.
and then go to filter options, and here just type wall.
Uh, filter, filter on or
Filter
filter
for
off?
words, filter for
Okay.
words, just
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
yeah, just this one.
A lot
and
of things show up, so he might want to just put desktop wallpaper.
and
Okay.
in this case it's not showing anything. It seems like not in the policies. Are you sure it's in the
Just
policies?
yeah, just put desktop wallpaper.
Yeah, just put
Yeah,
wallpaper.
mine is blank. Is showing, but it's
You missed the S there.
I'm gonna just say, okay, I need to put
No,
a
like
complete
desktop
word
wallpaper, separate
Wall.
words. So desktop and space wallpaper.
with a
You
with a space.
yeah.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
That's
so here it says lot of settings here,
Right there.
and which one is it? So
Right, the one right below blocking launch desktop app.
Sir, in this window, like if you are at the top, just you can do ESC. Just type continuously. There you go.
right. Okay, so we can go to desktop wallpaper and double click on this, and here you need to now enable this and provide the link. So guys, if you're here now, there are two ways to do that.
Can you go back again?
Yes, I can
Which
go back again under settings. You can go to filter on and then filter options. And here, just type the word desktop wallpaper.
Then click OK, right?
Then click OK. Once you do, it will give you a lot of settings. You need to scroll
Yeah, yeah.
down and then just select desktop wallpaper.
Desk.
Okay. So, guys, my question for you is, how many of you have already finished this, have completed this?
I have done it, sir.
So Naveed is done this, and
Sir, I'm done.
Wasim is also done with this. So I'll give you two more settings, Naveed and Wasim. Just try these other two settings. And you tested that as well?
Yes.
Okay, you tested that. So,
Sir, in fact, I did the same lab today in the morning too.
oh, really?
Yes.
Yes.
On GPMC in your real environment or in your test environment?
No, no, in the lab.
In the lab. Okay.
We both did so.
Okay, both of you did that and tested that as well.
Yes.
Okay. So okay. Uh, Try to do two more settings. Try to do, I mean, just to, I mean, save your time. Four of you have
Last and
already done this. Just two more, do two more setting. In the meantime, I'll just show this to the people who are learning this at the moment. Okay. So Salim and Faz and whoever is not able to finish this. So all I need to
Yeah,
do
I
is,
got it already. Desktop wallpaper.
okay, desktop wallpaper. Now, the important thing here, everyone to need to understand is this path. So this path is simply saying that where is the wallpaper image? So should it be in your C drive or should it be on a different server? I mean, ideally, it should be on a different server and should be accessed like this. But the other way around is that we can have a wallpaper picture and put it in the C drive. So now I will leave everything here and I will go to Windows Explorer, and within Windows Explorer what I need to do is within Windows Explorer I need to go to C drive, and here I don't have any picture. I need to bring a picture. So in order to bring a picture, instead of downloading from internet, I will go to one of the pictures here. Let's see if I can find any picture within the same machine, same server. Hmm. There are no pictures. Okay, so seems like there are no pictures on this server. So now we are left with option that we need to bring it from our desktop. So for this one, uh, everyone for this one will come back to this setting again, and I have to just close this without doing anything so that I can close this down and go back to the desktop on this. So this is my server now where I am on the server. It's empty, and I'm going to copy something from my machine here.
मैं स्पीकर नीचे हम नीचे चले जाओ go to step please. Sir, your voice is not coming. Anybody?
Yes, yeah, I know. I'm just looking
I thought
for.
maybe I disconnect.
No. I am looking for a picture,
Oh, I see. Yeah. It's
and
okay.
just a
It's okay.
second here. Just a second. So, I mean, we can all download some picture from the internet. And here, let's see if I can copy this picture. Okay, so I've copied this picture. So this is one picture. If I double click this, so this is a picture that I need to see on the wallpaper. I mean, how did I bring that picture? You can copy that picture. Let's say this is all my pictures here. So this is all my pictures. I can select one of the pictures here, right click on the picture and just copy that. So right click on the picture, any picture from your computer, and then right click on that and paste it on this desktop here. Okay, so once you bring this here, this is on the desktop. Now I need to copy that on the C drive. So in order to do that, I need to open File Explorer, everyone, and then go to C drive. So within C drive, I'll just paste that picture in the C drive. So I need this picture here in the C drive, and same place I need it on the client machine as well. So, and in order to copy that on the client machine, I can, what I can do is I can go to start, and within start, I can type the name of the client machine, which is this name, C 360 Cloud. So here, so my client machine name is this. Everyone, in order to connect to that other machine, just in the beginning of this name, I need to put double backslash. So that is how I will connect to the other machine from this computer. So first of all, everyone, please on the server, just click on start and type this double backslash and your client machine name, and then type C dollar sign. So you need to copy, you need to type this in order to connect to the client machine. So I'm going to paste that in the chat window. But just replace my client machine name to your client machine name. This way you can connect to the C drive of the client machine. Okay, so this one, am I typing the wrong name? So it's saying 360 cloud. Okay, so let me check that. We need to have the right client machine name. So D Hanks is logged in. And so where do I get the machine name? On the client machine, I need to open File Explorer, and then I'll go to Properties. So this will give me the client machine name. So the client machine name is 360 Cloud CL02. This is exactly the same name what I typed. So what I can do is go back to this machine. Okay, so so there is some issue. But the other way around is I can just copy this image from here and put it in the C drive of this client machine. So go to this PC.
Can we just share the folder from the main from server one? Can we just share the folder to like all the clients essentially?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's the best way to do it. That's the best way to do it. To share the folder and have a picture there, and then you can do it. Okay, so there's some problem with the client machine. It's not letting me copy anything on this. Uh, so yes, so what we can do is, so we can share the folder. So I mean, that's the recommended strategy. What we can do, I can create a folder on the server. Everyone on the server, I am on the server. I'll create a new folder called wallpaper, and then copy this image in that folder. So so everyone, I'm typing these instructions here so that you can need to, so create a folder. On the server one, Uh, everyone do this. Create a folder called wallpaper on C drive of server 1 and copy the image inside the server.
Yeah, I did already.
Okay. So once
Okay.
this is done, these two things are done, then share the folder wallpaper. So how do you share it? Right click on the folder. So we need to right click, and here we can say share with specific people. And we need to basically share it with everyone. So
Everyone.
I'm going to say everyone and add. So everyone meaning anyone will have access to this folder. So and share. So just select from here everyone and then share.
Just read or read and
Oh,
write?
it should be read. Read is fine because they just need to read the folder. We don't need to write. So just read and share.
Sure.
Okay, and now we need to use this link for the wallpaper. So the link will be // 360 cloud serve 1. If I can copy, you can right click on the link and copy that, and we can test that on the client machine before we can do it. So I'll go to the client machine, and in here I'll just paste that link.
Then click on
Sir, where you?
copy.
Sorry.
Sorry, sir, where did you get that link from? Yeah, this.
So this link, once you share the folder, so
Okay.
Then click done, sir.
then right click, first of all, right click on this and copy this and click done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, the specific ad, like to whom I should specify a specific, like the folder administrator or like client.
Yes. So for that, you need to just click here, everyone,
Okay, right.
everyone, and click. Once you share it, then copy, right click and copy the link. And once that is done, we'll try that link on a client machine so that we know that if the link is working.
So everyone folder, wallpaper folder, right, sir?
Yes,
Or a
wallpaper.
specific picture?
Sorry.
Wallpaper folder or wallpaper specifically, sir?
Where is it asking?
I mean, like everyone and then folder, sir, for the wallpaper.
Okay, so let me go back here. So you're on the screen. Share with
Yes, sir.
specific people,
Yeah, yeah.
and then
This everyone, sir.
everyone, and then share,
Yeah,
and that's it. And then done.
right, sir.
Is that what your question is?
Yes, sir. This is the
Okay,
question.
okay, okay. So
Yes,
once
sir.
this is done, then go on to the client machine and just
Okay.
see that if this server is accessible. So just type this name, // and your server name. You should be able to see the folder right here.
Okay, sir.
So if you're able to access it, then it means that your policy will work fine on this. So,
Zoha!
uh-oh. Um, so we're getting some background noise. Okay. So everyone, it's right here. So I've the link here, and all I need to do is go back to the policy. So I'm going back to the policy here, and within this, I now need to just enable this and paste that link here. So my link will be just this link. So what is your server name, you need to put that server name. And once this is done, so my link is this. and that's it. So I will click OK. So here you can see everyone that within the wallpaper name, you need to, oh, I need to put the name as well, name of the image as well. So my image name is, if I go back, the image name is AWS. You need to make sure that the image name is there too. And I think it needs the complete name with extension.
Second thing, you need to stretch like where you put the wallpaper name. There's an option wallpaper style, so you need to stretch it
Okay, so
because if
stretch,
it is in the center, then the
right,
image will come
it will be a small
right.
one, right? Okay, so in here, I need a full name, I think. So I'm just looking for where I can unhide extension so that I can see the full name. And it's right here, show extensions, right here. So the name of the file is this. So my name of the file is this, whatever your name of the file. So here, I'm going to put the file name. So this is now the complete path. So you need the server path name and the wallpaper, the folder, and the file name. Once you make this complete, then you can click OK. And now the last part, it will be, so this policy is enabled. All I need to do is to close this. So
And run GPO on
yeah,
deploying machines.
so everyone, just let me run this. Just let me run this, and then I'll one by one check your screen. Okay. So so all I did, so I followed just these 3 steps here. So remember, whenever you need to create a policy, always remember you need to create a GPO, then configure setting and link the GPO. So three steps. Always you need to do 3 steps. Number one, I created a GPO. Then I did the settings. So the settings we did one more time. I'll go into the settings, go into the policy, then in here, and then we went into the settings. Here I found the policy, but now I can just sort it by state. Sorted by state. So this is the only one enabled. This is why now it came at the top. So I don't need to search next time. Once I'm here, all I did was provide the link to the shared folder link to that wallpaper or the picture. So now this is ready. All I need to do is to link it to Sydney OU. So I'm going to link it to the Sydney OU. Once it is linked to a Sydney OU, now, so in Sydney OU, I made sure that there was a username. There was a user called, what was the name of the user? The user was David Hanks. So David Hanks is the user here. Now, how do I apply a policy? In order to apply a policy, there are 3 ways to apply a policy. So guys, one way is to apply a policy is to wait for 90 minutes. After 90 minutes, policy will be automatically applied. So here, I'm just going to write that here, that there are 3 ways to apply a policy. Number one is that so how do you apply a policy?
GPO update.
Apply policy. There are 3 ways. Number one, wait 90 minutes. So this is interview question. Wait, every 90 minutes policies are applied. Every 90 minutes policies are applied on all, again, every 90 minutes policies are applied. Or secondly, restart a computer. If you restart a computer, policy will be applied. Restart a computer, policy will be applied. Number 3 is, which is actually part of number 2, restart a computer or re-log in. So restart a computer or re-log in. Re-log in will apply a policy. Number 4 is that from the command prompt, just run GP update. From command prompt, Just type GP update.
Sir,
Yes.
so this picture, like JPNG file, it's necessary like to run
To
this policy wallpaper.
because you need some sort of picture to be displayed on the wallpaper. So you need any picture to be
So
displayed on the
how,
wallpaper.
how I will get this JPG, this one wallpaper name, because if I'm going to properties, I'm not getting such the name.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that you need to get the extension.
Yes, sir. Extension. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. So in order to get the extension, you need to unhide the extensions. Okay, I'll show you where that is. I'll show you
Yes, sir.
where that is. Just a second. So, guys, everyone understand? I need your attention on the board. I need your Ashish. I'll come back to your question. So, the question is, how do you apply? How many ways the policy can be applied? Either you link the GPO to the OU and wait for 90 minutes. In 90 minutes, it will be applied to where it is applied to. So, if you're applying it to the Toronto OU, it will be applied to everywhere in Toronto OU in 90 minutes. But if you cannot wait for 90 minutes, then just you need to send this command to that computer but through different tools. Or if you're on the computer, just run GP update. So GP update will apply the policy, or you ask the user to restart the computer. Now, here is the difference between restarting a computer and re-login. When you restart a computer, it will apply computer settings only. It won't apply user settings. But if you re-log in, then only user settings will be applied and not the computer settings. So always remember, now difference between this is right here within the C. Within here, if I can show you one of the policy here, so which means we need to have a clear understanding of this, that if you restart a computer, only these settings will be applied. But if you re-log in, only user settings will be applied. So which means, let's say if you're applying anything from the computer setting and you ask the user to restart, then these settings will be applied. But if you're applying anything from this settings and you're asked the user to re-log in, then the policy won't be applied. Policy will only be applied when the computer is restarted, and user setting will be applied when the user re-logs in. So the best way is to run GP update. GP update will apply both settings.
Sir,
Okay.
if you don't
Sir,
know, can
sir, I have a question.
Salim, you're saying something. Wasim, I'll come
yeah.
back to your
So this is
question.
Vaseem. I'm
Yes.
asking question.
Oh, okay.
Whenever we apply any policy, do we have to run the GP update on both client and server both?
No. So you just need to run GP update where the policy is being applied to. So you don't need to run it on the server.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And Salim, what were you saying?
Sir, sorry, my laptop was shut down. So can you repeat, like from the client machine?
Right. So I mean, a client machine. I'll go back to the client machine. But do you understand this on
Yeah, yeah.
the? Okay. So there are 4 ways to apply a policy: wait for 90 minutes or run GP update. Now, what I did on the client machine, we haven't done anything on the client machine. So we just created a policy, and then we linked it to the Sydney OU where Dave is, and now we need to see that this picture changes. So if the policy runs properly, then this picture should change. But one more thing that Naveed said, that I need to change the policy to be stretched, not centered, because if it is centered, then it will be a small picture. So I'll go back to the policy one more time. I'll right click, go to the edit policy and find my policy, go into the policies here, go into here, go to all settings, and I will just sort it by state. And here is the policy, that is the only policy enabled, and I need to change this style to stretched. Stretch meaning whatever picture is there, it should be wide stretch on the screens. Okay, so it is done. Salim, do you have a question?
No, just like from the from the client machine. I
Yes,
want to.
yes. From the client machine, what we need to do that is from the client machine, all I need to do is either I restart this machine, number one, or I can just try with CMD. But in order for this to take effect, it must be re-logged in, because the picture won't change even if you run the command. So better for this one is to restart. So I'm going to just restart this. I'm not going to update and restart. I'll just power reset.
I just wanted to also share. So I was just trying it, but I literally grabbed the policy and dropped it in the OU, and it prompted me to actually update it over there as well. So I just relogged it and it worked completely fine.
Okay, excellent. So it changed the picture?
Yeah. So
Sir,
I
I have a
literally just
question here.
dragged and dropped it in the Sydney folder, right?
And it said update the policy right from there.
Yeah. It says, would you want to
Excellent.
actually update the policy right there? And I linked it, and I just relogged in with this guy. What's his name? The user from the Sydney.
Right, right, right. But you still had to
That's it.
re-log in. You still had to re-log in, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Essentially,
Okay,
yes.
okay, okay. Yeah.
Sir, I
So
have a question.
yes, please go ahead.
So you just powered off the machine.
Right.
What's the difference between power off and shutdown?
Um, Power off and shut down. Shut down meaning that it is respectfully shut down. So meaning when we shut down a machine, it will one by one make sure that that machine is properly shut down with all of the applications closed properly. But when I just power off, it means that anything can crash in between. So since it is a training environment, that's why I just reset and power off. But
So if you
whereas
try
in
to
the real environment, we must shut down a machine.
oh, thank you, sir.
Okay. But it's a good question. Yes.
So extension, sir. I'm waiting for the extension.
You're waiting for what?
Extension, picture extension, sir.
Okay. So while this is starting up, let's quickly share your screen and I'll show you where that is. So my machine, I didn't want it to get into updates and it's going into updates and updating itself. Salim, you can share your screen. Okay, so from here, you need to get the screen, right?
Yeah.
So in order to get that, first of all, go to Windows Explorer, just click on the taskbar and click on Windows, that yellow box.
This one.
Yeah, okay. So now you're here. Now go to that picture folder where the picture is. Okay, so now here, click on View, up there, up, yeah. And then go to the option on the far right side. Go to the options, and within options, yeah, go to the options and go to view. And down there, I think the third last one, third last, hide extension. No, 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 no. On the same, go up, go up, go up. And here on the same box, the third one, hide extension for known file types. Just unhide,
This
just
one, sir.
click that. Yeah, that's it. And then click apply and close. This will give you the full name. So your full file name is .jpg.
This one, sir.
So yes, so either maybe copy this or maybe just go to your, now go to the taskbar. Now, since we know that this is the name, go to GPME actually. So it's open on your taskbar. I think it's the last one, yes.
Yeah.
So right here, just type here
Okay. Dot
dot .jpg.
JP. It's small or big. It's no
It
problem.
doesn't matter, but put it small. I think put it small.
Okay.
Or you can have it look at it again one more time.
It's
Sir,
small, sir.
I'm
Okay,
also
that's
stuck at the
fine.
same
JPG, sir. Then
No,
apply.
no,
Okay,
no,
sir.
no, no, hold on. So there is a
Yes, sir.
problem with this. Here you have double backslash between the server name and the wallpaper. It should be just one slash.
Okay.
Okay, so
Fine.
I think everything is fine now. Apply. Okay.
Yeah.
And now close. So you're already on this. 10 10 desktop. Wallpaper. Yeah, close this. So editor, just close this from the side. So as
Okay.
soon as you close the editor, the policy is saved, and close this as one. And now open, expand GPO. Oh, you closed everything. Okay. Now
Yes, sir.
open again GPMC.
GPM, sir.
Yes. And now extend domain, go to the group policy object. No group
Group.
policy
Okay.
object. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, where is the policy?
So policy, I believe.
No, the policy should be here.
Sir,
Uh,
it's in the site, I think.
no,
Group
it's
policy.
not even here. That is strange. It should have saved it. It should have saved it. So all policies are here. Somehow, maybe it's not created. That is really strange. Okay, now let's quickly do it again. So right click on group policy object and recreate this.
New, sir.
Yes, new. Just name it wallpaper. Simple name.
Wallpaper.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Wallpaper.
Okay. And right click on this and edit. Eh,
Wallpaper, sir.
yes, right click on wallpaper, edit.
Uh,
Do you know where to go for the policy?
yes, sir.
Policy, administrative templates, and
All
then
set.
all settings.
And,
And you
sir,
can,
filter on
yes, very
this
good.
wallpaper.
Very good. Excellent. Now here,
Enter.
now you need to enable and double
Yes,
backslash, just type double backslash. I think we remember the name and the
yes, sir.
server name, type the server name, canap
CAN
serve 01
01
slash,
wallpaper.
yes, your folder name. So we will confirm that as well. So sometimes there is a typo in the name.
Right?
No, 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 no. So there is a folder name in between the file name and the folder
Sir,
name.
I saved on the desktop.
You saved it on the desktop. Okay, show me. Go back to this. Oh, okay. It's on the desktop. You need to put it in you. Okay, hold on.
Wallpaper, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So copy this folder. No, no, folder.
Okay.
Go back.
This folder, sir.
Yes. No, not this folder. Not this folder. Go
Okay.
to desktop. Okay, now where is that folder?
Sir, it's on the desktop. So should
Okay.
I copy and paste in the document new folder?
No, 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 no. Just copy this and go to PC, this PC, and go to C drive and create a, oh, you already have a folder. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you already
Yeah.
have it here.
Sir,
Okay.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Right click on wallpaper and share it. You already shared it. That's
Yeah.
fine. So you
Yes, sir.
already shared it. It's okay. So cancel this. Now we know that this folder is shared. And so now go to GPME on the taskbar.
Yes, sir.
So right here, now we can just say, just remove this A. Your folder name was what? Wallpaper?
Yes, sir. Wallpaper.
Just type wallpaper.
Okay. Dot JPMG, sir.
No, no, slash, slash.
Slash.
And now type wallpaper.jpm. First one slash, and so this is your complete path for this. JPG.
JPG. Okay.
JPG. Okay, so now let's confirm that one more time. Everyone, this is a very important part where I want you to know that whenever we work with policies, do not take it for granted. Always recheck again and again, because policy doesn't work after that. These are the small things that will affect it. Okay, so now since we wrote the path, but before applying this, I still need to check back again. Go to the folder and let's check the spellings. So your folder name, go to this PC and go to C drive and go to wallpaper. So the wallpaper name spelling is WALL and paper. And here the file name is also wallpaper PAPER. Right. So this is, I just wanted to confirm that. Now go back to GPME. So we need to just see first the server name. Go back here on the click on the server name. Yeah, so double backslash, it connects to the server, then the wallpaper, then move the cursor, go, yeah, right till the end. And here we have the server name, everything looks fine. So now click OK. Okay. And
Yeah.
and expand this window. Expand this window. We need to see that if it is enabled. So here we can see that it is enabled under the state on this side, on the right side,
Yes,
it
sir.
is enabled. That's fine. So now close this. Let's close this. Let's see if it is. Okay, so now here we can see this. Now link that to Toronto. Since you only have Toronto OU, so just click on the wallpaper. Click on the wallpaper. No, the
Okay.
up there, and drag it to the Toronto OU up there. Yeah. No, this is site. This is site. You don't need to link it to the site. You need to
Yes,
link
sir.
it to the OU. Yes, right here. Okay, now that, so expand Toronto, and see that it is linked. But tell me, Salim, Zishan, do you
Yes,
have
sir.
users in this? Do you have any users in this OU?
Yes. I believe I have, sir. In
Okay, so users you cannot see here. User you have to see that in Active Directory users and computers. So go to Server Manager and open Active Directory users and computers. We need to see which users are in your Toronto OU.
Sir, I have a question here.
Yes, please go ahead.
I just shared one picture.
Mm-hmm.
So if I copy this one, like you see the
sir,
location,
Okay.
is
Okay.
right or
Just a
no?
second, Alamgir. Just a second, Alamgir. So now you know that, Zishan, that now you have users called John and Graham, right?
yes, sir.
In this. So on your client machine, log in with any one of these users, John or Graham. Yes, Alamgir, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I have a question. When we made a like when we copied the picture and made a folder, and after that, if I go and click right on that folder, and if I go to properties, right, so I
Right.
can see the location here. So is this the link I can paste to or no?
Mm,
Location you see?
location. If you
I
write,
chose to see drive like a wallpaper, then a new folder.
right, you can
So
use that location too. You can use that location too, as long as that location has the image.
okay.
Now I'm in the user, sir.
Okay, so now you're in the user. You need to log off or restart both of these machines. Restart both of the machines and then log in with Graham. The picture should display on this. Okay. In okay. Hold on. What's happening here? So did you restarted them? Just
Yes,
restart both of them.
yes, sir.
Okay. So once restarted, then try to log in. So in the meantime, guys, I'll share my screen. So Dishan, let me know once you're logged in. Then we'll come
Okay,
back
sir.
to your screen. Okay.
Right.
So,
Uh,
yes, please go ahead.
Sorry, Adnan, can I share my screen with you?
Yes, just a second. Just give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Just give me one
All
minute.
right.
Guys,
Okay.
on my screen, you can see that the wallpaper is applied, and the wallpaper is applied on this because we applied the policy, and I'm logged in with
We only
Dave.
see
D-
screen, Adnan bhai.
oh, it's not. I'm not able. You're not able to see my screen. Okay.
Sir,
Yes, stop sharing.
now I'm unable to log in, Sir John Dave, with the same password.
Okay. We'll see that. What is the issue? What is the error message you're getting?
Sir, this one. The sign-in method you are trying to use, it's not allowed. For more info, contact your network administrator.
Right. We need to fix that. Just a second. Uh, where can I share my screen? Okay. So share screen is right here. So on my screen here, now you're able to see my screen, server
No,
one and the client one.
Zishan has to stop sharing his screen, and only then will you be able to share it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Zishan screen is up there. Okay,
So,
so hold
should I
on.
stop, sir?
No, it's fine. We'll look at your screen. But I'm not able to see your screen, so that's the thing. Okay, now I can see your screen. Okay, now try to log in.
Okay. Sir, no.
Right. Right. So hold on this screen. So everyone, I need your attention. I know that some of you have questions. I'll come back to your questions, guys. Let's spend this time, guys. This is not a time where we can feel bored. That what are we doing, guys? This is exactly the same thing what happens in the real environment. In the real environment, you're asked to do a very simple task of creating a policy. For non-technical managers, for non-technical people, this seems to be a very simple task, but guys, this simple task can take hours and hours in the real environment when you try it on different machines. So let's say in our environment, it's very simple that we have just two servers. So we have just two servers and we have two clients, and we made sure that firewalls are off. We made sure machines are pinging. So for us, it seems very simple. But guys, in real environment where machines are thousands of machines and all machines are connected with different networks and all that, there it's a real job where you need to fix it. And one of the scenarios that we see it on Zishan's machine, that everything seems fine from the server side. You have the right policy, it is in the right place, and everything is fine. But when the user is logging in, user is getting this message, and the message says the sign in method you're trying to use isn't allowed. For more information now, in so this error message is a very it's a general error message. We don't know what that message is. I mean, I saw this message for the first time, maybe because of some policy. It's we are not able to log in to this. So in order to, so Zishan, when is the last time when this user was able to log in?
Sir, yesterday?
Yesterday. And what
Yeah.
about on client one? Click on client one. Client one has the same message.
No, sir.
Client one is able to log in. Okay.
I'm trying to log in,
Okay.
sir.
Try to log
Not.
in. So you're trying to log in with the password. Okay, for your second client, I think this is because of maybe the network card is not working, or for some reason you're not able to log in. From our side, we can make sure that there is no policy that is blocking this. So in the meantime, while this is logging in, did you restart it client two?
No, sir.
So restart client two.
The same errors are for client 2 as well.
Okay, okay. It means that it's a problem. It's a problem here in, so it's not a problem only on this machine. No, don't restart now. Don't restart. So go to server one. Go to server one and open GPM. Open GPM from server manager and tool. Remember the group policy management.
Yes, yes, yes.
So group policy management, and here we can see that we applied this policy. This shouldn't matter on the site level. Look at the site level. unlink this policy. So right click on the policy under Toronto, just right click on this. Yeah. And unlink, just click on this link here. So this is not linking. Now right click on that policy again and delete this. So maybe because of this, because you applied, because in our case we never applied the domain policy to our Toronto site. Since you never had that policy that I linked, so you applied the domain policy. So because of that, you were not able to log in. Now you need to, in order to fix that, restart both of the client machine and then try again. So everyone, you see the problem when we try to link even the right policy to the site will be applied to all of them. So since Zishan applied the domain policy on the site level, that's why he was getting that strange message. Now, uh, I think that's the issue. So this should, once these machines come back, they won't have that policy, and Zishan will be able to log in. Okay, so can you click on the client? Let's see if it comes back. And so, yeah, so now try to log in to this account and see that if that policy doesn't.
Yes, sir. Change
Okay,
the. Yes.
excellent. So now your wallpaper is working, your policy is working. And the good thing is that you applied a wrong policy and we saw the effect as well. That's a good experience for everyone as well.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Both the.
Excellent, very good. So just write down in your notes that while applying a policy, I mean, you cannot mention that you applied a wrong policy on the site level, but just for your own, that if the policy is applied on a wrong place, so this policy, same policy is applied on the domain level, it's fine. But if that same policy was applied on the site level, that restricted everyone not to log in. Okay, so
Okay, but
that's.
sir, domain level is there is a policy, right, sir?
Yes. So on domain level, there are, so two default policies are there. There is a default domain policy, and then
Okay.
there is under domain controller, there is a default domain controller policy. So these are the two default policies that are in all domains. And then we create our own policies. Okay.
Right. Right.
So Zishan, if you can unshare your screen, then now I
Yes,
can
sir.
take other questions.
Yes,
So
sir.
there was a question from Alamgir. What was your question, Alamgir? And Naveed, you had a question too?
Yes, so now let me share my screen.
Yes, please share your screen.
Okay.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
see?
I asked you that if I go to like to the folders settings
Mm-hmm.
and properties, from there, if I just copy the link from the location, will that work? That was my question.
Okay, so we said it should work. It will work.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, good. So yes, Naveed. So we can see David Hanks is, you're trying to log
Right.
in with David Hanks.
Right. So what I did here that I have applied three policies here.
Mm-hmm.
One is for the desktop picture.
Right.
So this is the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And second is the task manager is disabled.
Oh, okay, good.
And the third thing is if there is any kind of a naughty user,
Mm-hmm.
then he cannot go and change the name of computer or to the
Oh,
domain.
wow, that's good. Three different policies.
Right. So in the same way, like, is there any kind of limit that we have to stop there, or just a limit of 10 policies?
Is there a limit on number of policies applied to a computer?
Right.
No, there is no limit. You can apply 100 policies to a computer or all 1600 policies to a computer.
I see.
No,
Okay.
this is very good. Good that you tried 3 different policies here. So guys,
Right.
anyone has
Thank you.
any other question? Okay. So everyone, let's recap what we have learned so far. Actually, before recapping, let's quickly take 5 minutes and go through this console here. So first of all, let's try to understand this. Everyone, let's try to understand. I know that there is last 12 minutes left. Maybe we might need 5, 10 minutes more. So guys, let's look at this here. Number one, today we were learning about GPM, group policy management. Group policy management, there are, for the interview purposes, these are the concepts that we need to remember. These are the concepts we need to remember. And there will be interview question summary as well that I will share with you at the end of the training, where, or your notes has everything. Your notes has everything as well. So group policy, always remember, group policies are those security settings that are applied to the network that you cannot apply with permissions. Okay. So which means that in day-to-day environment, there is nothing that can stop. There is no permission that can disable task manager. There is no permission that can change the wallpaper, that can keep the same wallpaper. Now, since we have the policy, now anyone who's logged in, they will have to get this ugly wallpaper. So my wallpaper is ugly. Since I stretched it, the picture was small. When I stretched it, it looks like this. So, but in real companies, what happens is they have their own company logo. So this is why when you go to these companies, the wallpaper is their logo. You can see the company logo there. Sometimes there are some motivational, a sentence or something, a logo with their taglines. So this is how they do it. They do it from group policy. So group policies is that, but group policies is also important in that sense that if you apply a wrong group policy on a wrong level, that can that can disturb all of those users, and that can come down to the security admin. Now let's look at here. And other than that, before I can go from here, on the first slide, we started to understand what is a group policy. It's a collection of settings. We can create a policy in GPMC, then we can edit a policy in GPME, and then we can apply that policy to site, domain, and OU. So first it will apply to a site, then domain, then OU. So the interview question is how is it applied? So which one will take precedence? The site policy will take precedence, or the domain policy will take precedence, or the OU? Always remember, last out. Whatever policy is last out, that will win. So even the policy is applied on the site level, then the domain level, then the OU level. So OU level policy will win, and that policy will be effective. Now, not necessarily there will be all the policies applied on the on the site level. It might be a different policy. On the domain level, it might be a different policy, different setting. On the OU level, it's a different setting. If all are different setting, then all settings will be applied. Okay. Then we also learned 3 different concepts, which is inheritance, block inheritance, and force GPO. So let's see that in our server. In our server, if I go, let's say if I need to block inheritance on Sydney level. So I right click on this, and here it says block inheritance. You can block inheritance on Sydney level. I blocked inheritance, meaning now this default policy cannot go more than, it will be applied to all of them, to a Toronto OU, to New York OU, but it won't be applied to Sydney OU. But let's say if I need to force this default domain policy, I can right click on this and I can say enforced. If I say enforced, that means that will even override the block inheritance. So this policy will definitely apply on Sydney OU, and so even if it's saying a block inheritance. But let's say if I have more policy, I have this policy applied on domain level, which is default control panel policy. And so what do you think, this policy will be applied on Sydney or not?
Uh, can you repeat your question, sir?
So my question is everyone, that
No, sir.
I have 2 policies on domain level, disable control panel, default. So which policy will apply on Sydney?
The disable will not apply because only enforcement if there is enforcement, that will be applied.
Yes, exactly. Because the default disable control panel is a normal policy. And on Sydney, you're blocking inheritance, which means this policy can apply to New York, but as soon as it reaches here, it will be blocked. But if you still need to apply it, you can right click on this policy and say enforced. If you say enforced, then even it will apply to all the block inheritance as well. So that is the main point that I wanted to make. So three things to understand for interview: inheritance, block inheritance, and enforced. Enforced simply means that it will override block inheritance. And here, if I say, no, this is not enforced and this is not enforced, then it means that on Sydney, and on Sydney, if I just remove it, then it will run automatically. Here it says that it will be applied. Now, why is there a concept of block inheritance, and why is there a concept of enforce? Let's say here I have this policy of this policy is applied on this level, and I have this same policy applied on Toronto level as well. Now this will be applied to our Toronto group. And so this policy, I can see that there is a policy applied on this. So on this one, if I need to block inheritance, so first of all, if I need to apply this to everyone, I can just apply the policy on the domain level. But block inheritance is there that will block the inheritance, and enforce is there to enforce the policy. So that's one thing here. Now, the second thing that we need to remember about group policies is right here. So which is, if you click on the policy, if you click on the policy on this side, it is showing you the scope of the policy. So scope shows that where this policy is applied. Now, if I look at the task manager is only applied to users. So it means that it is only applied to users OU and not, and no one else. Whereas this policy is applied to Sydney and Toronto OU. So once it is applied to Toronto OU and Sydney OU, your one question was that someone asked that question in the beginning, that is there a way where we can restrict that policy to be applied to only one user in Sydney? Let's say this policy is applied on Sydney and Sydney has two users. So let me go back to here, and Sydney has one user, which is Dave Hanks. Let me create another user. Let's say the new user is, next, the other user is Ali Haider, and I will name that user A Haider, and I will provide the user. So I want to apply the policy only to this one user and not the complete OU. So in this case, so I created this user inside. Now we have two users. So now, guys, we need to remember, and it was discussed right here within this slide, where I said that in order to restrict someone from being applied to, we can use security filtering. So it is, I think, right here somewhere. Yeah. So on this, here I said that if we need to apply policy only on one user, then we can use security filtering. So security filtering option is right here. So let's say there are two users, Ali Heather and David Hanks. So both users are, so here it's saying that in Sydney, it will be applied to everyone. So if I go in here in security filtering, this is that option in which it's saying that it should be applied to all the users, all meaning authenticated users. That all of the right users, all the users in this OU meaning all authenticated user. All I need to do is remove this, and then I will add only Ali Heather here. So I'm just gonna go Ali, and it should provide me this name. So Ali Heather. Now with the security filtering, regardless of how many users are in Sydney OU, it will only apply to Ali Heather. So that's how we can restrict it to only one user or only specific user. You can keep on adding more and more users here, or you can add a group here as well. So security filtering is used to do that.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Like once you create a policy, suppose for Toronto. So when you link it, when you unlink it, can you move that policy, same policy, to other city, like maybe Brampton or somewhere?
Yeah. So let's say this is the policy. I link the same policy to both of them, Sydney and Toronto.
How did you do, sir?
So
Sorry, I didn't.
just drag it. Let's say now I need to link it to New York. All I need to do is to drag it and link it. So it is linked to now three places. Same policy linked to three places. And if you need to remove it, all you need to do, I need to remove it from New York. Just select the policy and delete. So here I would just say delete. It will delete the link, but the policy exists in here. So one policy can be linked to different places at the same time.
But if you have only one policy, and if you delete it, that will be deleted, or still it will be inside.
Yes, so that's a very good question. If I delete the policy from Sydney, it will only be deleted from Sydney. But if you delete the policy right here in the GPO objects, then it will be deleted from everywhere. So this is the main policy that is linked to every places. But if you delete it from here, then it will be deleted from everywhere. Okay. So guys, one more
Sorry,
time. Yes, please go ahead.
Adnan bhai, can you please do that security filtering one more time, please?
Yes. Security filtering is that option in which you can, so I'll go to the other policy. Actually, this policy is saying that this will only be applied to Ali Heather. Let me go to another policy. Let's say disable task manager and I apply to New York user. By default, this policy will be applied to everyone in New York. But if you need to apply it only on some specific people, then here you need to remove all authenticated users. This means that or everyone that is there, I mean authenticated users simply means that all users. So if you need to apply to any specific person, remove this and then add the person where you need to apply it to. So in here you just type, let's say Dave is a person, Dave Hanks. So it will be applied only to Dave Hanks. If Dave Hanks exists in New York, then the policy will be applied. But we know that Dave Hanks is not here. Dave Hanks is in Sydney. So regardless, so this won't be applied today in this because this policy is only applied to OU. Okay. So security filtering is that option. Then other than that, within the details here, you can see that this is the detail of the policy here. So this is the domain name, owner name, and this is creation date. This is modified date, and this is the version of the policy. So these are the things that are there, and this is the GPO status. Now in here, just one more thing, and I'm just gonna need 5-10 minutes more from you. I know everyone is tired, but just give me 5 minutes more on this, everyone. So guys, in here, you can say that all settings disabled. If you say all settings disabled in this, meaning that this GPO is attached there, but settings are not applied to anyone. No settings are applied. But here you say, from this policy, only apply computer settings. Then you can select this option. Here you can say only apply user settings. So it will select this option. And here, if you say enabled mean whatever is in the policy that will be applied to everyone. Then within the settings, it will show you the report that what is in this. So for example, if I go to this here, company background wallpaper, one way to find out, you can edit this and find the policy, or you can go to details here or settings. Within the settings, you can see that you can show, it will show you what policy it is applying. So it's just saying that you're applying this policy. You're applying this wallpaper to everyone, and the wallpaper is getting it from the server 01. Now in here, and then you have the delegation is used that who can manage this policy. So by default, a domain admin, enterprise admin can manage this policy. But let's say there is a help desk staff that you want this policy to manage. So I mean, by default, we are admins, we can manage it. But if let's say David Hanks wants to manage the policy, wants to edit the policy, open the policy, add more settings, then we need to delegate that task. So for example, if I go here and add Dave, David Hanks. So now here it's saying, okay, you're about to give admin rights of only this policy, not all of the policy, only this policy to David. What type of permission do you want to give? Read or edit or any other? So here I'm saying, no, he can do anything with the policy. So you can provide him this policy here. So these are the four things are scope, detail, setting, and delegation. Now, if you need some special settings within this policy, then you can write WMI filtering. So here goes the script of the policy. Here goes the script. If you need to write a complex script for this, then you can. That is always WMI scripting. Most of the time, scripting is not used in an environment. Only in very special scenarios it is used. But even if it is used by developers. So they will be able to develop a script, then they can attach this setting to group policy manager. Now, the last thing that we need to remember, there is something called a startup GPO. So remember that when we create a new GPO, which is right here, so this is a GPO, and that setting is right here, starter GPO. So guys, the last thing, I know everyone is tired, but I just want you to remember this one point here. So whenever we create a new policy, there is something called a starter GPO. Starter GPO is basically a GPO that has the basic settings for your organization. Startup GPO is a GPO that will be used every time when you create a new policy. Let's say, for example, I'm creating a new starter GPO, which is right here, and I want that setting to be part of anything, to be part of all of the GPOs automatically. So for example, when I create a new GPO here, and I need to select some specific settings here. So maybe special firewall rules or anything. I can save that settings, going into the settings here, and okay, just a second here. I can create a new starter GPO. It will be clear in 1 second here. So let's say I create a new starter GPO called pass organization. And then I create this, I right click on this and edit. And I can do some basic settings on this. Basic settings means that in the control panel, let's say if I can make any changes, uh, do not display lock screen. So if I say do not display lock screen, should be part of all of the GPOs that are part of your organization, or prevent enabling lock screen on camera. So here you can go here. I enable this one setting. I mean, this is just for an example. Let's say this is, I created a new GPO and I saved this setting. Now in here, if I go, I can see that this one setting is enabled right here. Now this is called a starter GPO. Now starter GPO is most of the time has the settings that you want to be as part of all other GPOs. So for example, now if I need to create a new GPO to, let's say, to do anything else, then I can add this GPO as well. I can add this GPO, meaning whatever settings I do in this setting will always be part of that GPO as well. So this is like you want to enforce, you're saying that, so let's say you have four IT admins and they all need to create different GPOs, but one setting is there that I need to be part of all of the GPO, that is known as starter GPO. I mean, this is totally optional. You can say, no, in my GPO, it will only have my settings and not all other settings. Then you can create it without a starter GPO. But if your company policy is that whoever creates a GPO, they must attach a starter GPO, then they will create a policy and this GPO will be attached to this. Now, what is the example of starter GPO? Example might be that auditing should be enabled on everything. So whenever anyone is creating a group policy, they need to use a starter GPO that will make sure that all the auditing is enabled. So whenever they are making any changes to the policy, that must be there. So this is why it is known as starter GPO, but it is totally optional. When you create a new GPO, it is totally optional, and it's not, it's basically, it's only used in some places where they have very strict policies and they want some GPO to be part of this. Last thing is that we can back up all of these let's say you're moving that from one forest to another, one company to another, you can just select the backup. I'm backing up all of the group policies. Let's say I back this up right here in C drive. And within C drive, I need to back up all this. So now it is taking backup of all my policies. Now it is necessary to take backups of all your company policies. Why? Because there can be anything, there can be anything, there can be any disaster within your domain. Number one, there can be anything. I mean, there can be a problem with the group policy. Maybe someone went into the group policy and made some changes, and now they don't remember what changes they did. So if you have a backup, you can always bring it back from the backup. Now if you need to bring it back, let's say if I delete this policy by accident, so I'm deleting this policy, and this policy was a very important policy. It was linked to Sydney, it was linked to Toronto OU, so that is all gone because you deleted the policy. In order to bring it back, all you need to do, go to manage backups, and here you need to select which policy that you need to bring back. Okay, so that's the policy, and you can restore this. As soon as you restore the policy should be back. The policy is back, but the one thing that is not back, now you need to remember where was it linked to. So now you need to go back and relink them, because that you need to remember, otherwise you cannot link them. So backup will give you that benefit if somebody accidentally made wrong changes or maybe deleted that, then you can bring it back. Okay. So guys, this was the topic of today, group policy. Group policy is a very important part for interviews as well. For all Active Directory, they will ask you questions around this. On the concept level, it is being recorded, so you can try on your own. But basically, this is the main information that we all need to remember. Any questions?
Yes, Adnan bhai. So for 741, how many classes are left?
741, so we have a group policy and two more classes. So one is overall, so we will just finish that with overall monitoring, backup and everything. And the one class will be for the networking. The few chapters that we left in 741, that with the VPN, with advanced networking, so those essential topics, and plus one more chapter for the backup monitoring and overall everything, then this is all done. 2 days. Then remember that we decided that we're going to start with VCP instead of 741. So I've added both of the chapters from both trainings into this one training.
So, sir, can you kindly ask Amin bhai to upload 742, because in the meantime we have some time here. We can
yes, for sure, for sure.
Otherwise, it will be lots of headache for us, because we see like.
I will ask him right after this, and you can also leave a message in the group. So that I need 741.
742.
742, yes. And people who have not finished 741, please finish that as soon as possible, because after 2 days we are starting VMware. So instead of 742, we are starting VMware. Okay.
Okay, Namit, thank you.
Okay, excellent, everyone. That is all for today. And please review all the lessons and everything. And so we'll see each other in the next lecture.
Thank you, Adnan bhai. Allah
Thank
Hafiz.
you.
Thank you, Adnan bhai. Thank you, everyone. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, Adnan bhai. Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, salam.